Pinconning, Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello. Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mitt. We got a lot to discuss, some fun topics for you over the next 3 hours as well. Thanks for letting us be a part of your day, wherever you are listening, wherever you're listening from. Let's get going. The Tigers, they lose once again. This is like a daily occurrence to start out the show. Oh, what happened last night in the Tigers game? They lost again. Swept by Cleveland, 4 games. They have now lost, this doesn't even sound right, but it is 14 of their last 16 games. And yesterday it's just like, oh, you want to see us continue to just take pitches down the middle of the zone? Strike out, strike 3, there you go. Yeah, it's just so ugly, man. And I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know with this Tigers team, but like at this point, what are we doing? The season is, you're on the verge of losing it completely. And guys like Zach Short, Jahmai Jones, you still got to see him play every single day. When they played 8 position players yesterday that are hitting sub 215. 8 position players that are hitting sub 215. That's who they're playing all of these games. I hesitate to say that the season's over before June even rolls around. And I said less than 3 days ago, continue to have optimism. Have a sanguine attitude. I wanted you to be able to see through a positive lens that there are players coming back and this season is not quite over. I didn't take into account that they weren't going to win another game because that's the way they're playing. They're not just losing baseball games. They're discovering ways to lose baseball games. Oh, you want to see our offense not show up? Here you go. Want to see our pitching staff not show up? Here you go. Want to see 3 errors throughout the course of a game? Here you go. I didn't take into account the fact that they would lose 14 of 16 games, Kyle. When I told our audience to stay sanguine, stay positive, you know what I didn't consider? This. This is the worst version of Tigers baseball that could possibly exist. You look at the last 82 games, only 2 teams in baseball have worse records than the Tigers. You look at that last 162 games, this is a below 500 team. It's not a good baseball club. And for some reason, going into the year, we were all tricked that this was a World Series contending team. I'm not quite giving up, but it is hard to tell people to stay positive about this team right now. They're atrocious in every way.
I got to stick to my guns, Ben. We pre-Cleveland series, we had talked about how pivotal this was for the Tigers' chances of quickly getting back into this thing or not. And I said, look, if they take 3 or 4 against Cleveland, I think they're going to be in a spot to get right back into first place within a month or so of this division because that would have had them 6.5 games back, something like that, which is not terrible. 5.5 games back, whatever it would have been. And they would have been able to, build up some momentum with winning 3 or 4 against a division rival that has had the upper hand against you in the regular season.
Yeah,
and
now
Cleveland is your rival.
Now you've lost 13 of the last 16 games to Cleveland, I believe the number is.
Yeah.
It's either 12 of 15 or 13 of 16.
They've
Something
owned you
stupid
in the regular season over the last less than a year. And I said if they lost 3 of 4, then it's going to be very difficult for me to sit here and be like, yeah, you know what, it's fine, though.
Well, it's a good thing they didn't lose 3 of 4.
Yeah, they got swept in a 4-game series.
Which is basically hard to do in Major League Baseball against anybody. You can play the best team in baseball. Getting swept in a 4-game series is difficult to pull off.
And they've done it against 2 division opponents this year. That's the thing. If this 4-game series would have been against the Houston Astros or I'm just thinking of any other team that's fine, that is not in their division, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But the best way to get back into a spot where it's like, oh, the season's not over yet, they can still do some stuff, they can gain some ground, is by winning the series against the team in your division. Because the division still is terrible. Yeah, but Cleveland, They're 9 of their last 10 wins. They're 8 games above 500. I don't know. Did you watch that series? Does Cleveland scream like a great baseball team? Because it seems like to me they were just beating up on a JV baseball team in the Tigers.
Yeah, they're beating up a team that doesn't want to be out there in any way, shape, or form. A team that basically has thrown their towel in on the season. At least that's what A.J. Hinch and Scott Harris are telling us. Why the hell is Max Anderson still in AAA?
I
got no
can't
answers.
believe that one.
I got no answers for
I got
our
no
audience.
answers either. Yeah, and so now today that they have lost 9 of 10, they have lost 14 of 16, and coming off of this 4-game sweep with 6 straight losses now, I think it's over. I think they're done. Like, I just don't think how can
you know how hard it is for your season to be over before June 1st?
And like, I'm not going to put a stamp on it and be like, there's no way that this team makes the playoffs, because a lot of things can still happen with it being this early. And I understand how like asinine it is to say the season is over in May, but is there any sort of hope for this team? Because you can sit here and say, oh, but the injuries and the guys are going to come back and this and that. Okay, it doesn't change the fact that, like, this team had 8 guys hitting below 210 get an at-bat yesterday. That's crazy. And Gleyber Torres coming back is going to fix all of that offensively?
I mean, Gleyber Torres, Javi Baez, Kerry Carpenter could all come back today. Justin Verlander, a good version of himself. Not the Alex Cobb version of him. And Scooble could come back tomorrow. All 5 of those guys, and I'll throw in Troy Mellon too, all 6 of those guys could come back tomorrow. The odds of them playing good enough baseball to go over 500 by the end of the year still would seem unlikely. That is the hole that they've dug themselves into here.
And they just allowed the team in first, and the only route that they have to make the playoffs to go 8 games up above 500 because you got swept 4 games by them. Like, that's the thing. That's why this series was so pivotal. The gap that they just created for themselves to come back from seems way too far-fetched.
It's the worst division in baseball, right? That's what we all agree on. Yet the Tigers are somehow 4-10 against the AL Central this year, like you alluded to. 4-game sweep against Minnesota, 4-game sweep against Cleveland. You've played 2 series versus Kansas City in which you won 4 games. You still lost to them twice. So you're 4-10 against the worst division in sport. You have 3 real hitters. That's the conclusion I've come to. You have Riley Green, who's having the best season of his career, being wasted. You have Kevin McGonigal, who's been one of the best rookie. I mean, he's not had a good May. Let's be honest. Still having an incredible rookie season. Wasted. You've got Dylan Dingler, who, if it wasn't for that athletics catcher, would be in prime position to be an all-star this season. And guess what? That season's being wasted because the other 6 guys in this starting lineup on a consistent basis just go out there and swing their bat. They couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat, Kyle. That is how pathetic this offense has been. The pitching staff's not been that much better either. So I start to look around. Obviously, we all questioned what A.J. Hinch was doing yesterday. Now I want to look at Scott Harris and assess the job that he has done. Didn't add a single bat this offseason because you didn't want to block any of the young guys, in which you're not calling up, by the way. Max Anderson still just chilling down in AAA for some godforsaken reason, but no, you don't want to block the young guys. Nobody's being blocked because you didn't sign anybody, dude. I always go back to the Jack Flaherty deal. That was so bad, the way that they traded him. Look, I've never been a big Scott Harris guy. I never have.
Even though you said he was the best GM in the city like a month ago.
I'm so stupid, dude. I'm so dumb sometimes. I can't believe I said that.
Oh, man.
I don't even know what the content. Just because Kevin McGonigal was great? And the team was, 2 games above 500 at that point?
Yeah.
They didn't add any bats. They have look at the Jack Flaherty contract, man. You know how much money he's making this year? $20 million. It's like one of the 3 highest paid guys on the team. It makes no sense, man. He's done a bad job since he's become the GM of this team. And luckily, he's got the Kevin McGonigal thing to hang his hat on. But good gracious. I want to dive a little bit deeper into him a little bit later on in the show. We do have some good news. The other GM, Brad Holmes, got his deal done with Jack Campbell, who's now signed through 2030. He becomes the 2nd highest paid linebacker in the NFL, only behind Fred Warner on an annual average salary basis. Always good when you're able to re-sign your own guys. This is the 7th Lions draftee that they've been able to re-sign. He joins Kirby Joseph, Aleem McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jamison Williams. All 6 of those guys. Extended draft picks by the Detroit Lions. Jack Campbell being the 7th. A lot of this is going to be the cycle of how off seasons go every year for the Detroit Lions. We have no money to spend in free agency. They got to make a splash move. Guess what? They can't. They're just going to work around the edges in free agency. You'll be lucky if they sign a starter. Maybe they'll sign one here or there. Until they actually prove that they can't sign someone that they drafted, I'm just going to believe that they can sign everybody. That's what it feels like is going to happen. It feels like they're going to get another deal done this offseason too, whether it's Gibbs, Laporta, Branch, some combination of both of them. You look at that draft class now, unbelievable. Jack Campbell, obviously a first-team All-Pro last year. Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta all have been Pro Bowlers at one point in their career. It's tough to get the injuries. With Brian Branch and Sam Laporta, tough to get those sort of contracts done. But until they actually prove, hey, we actually can't extend this guy, I'm just going to believe they can extend anybody they want via the draft. It just means they're not going to have a ton of money in free agency. The Lions fans just have to come to realization with that instead of banging the drum every single free agency, every offseason, where it's like, why can't we sign anybody? We have no money. Guess what? You're probably not signing starters all that often because you get to do this. You get to re-sign all the All-Pros that you draft. I'm fine with that as long as they keep drafting well.
Yeah, we knew this extension was going to be coming with Jack Campbell, obviously, when they didn't pick up his fifth-year option. Just the classic way that the Lions announced this. It doesn't get to any of the writers. It doesn't get to any of the national guys. It's just a video of Jack Campbell himself posted on the Lions page. Hey, guys, I signed an extension. Just classic. It's kind of like how the Lions like to operate. But
guy with the least personality on the team. Here, Jack, take this phone. He's like, what is this brick that I'm holding? Jack Campbell, the kind of guy to still have a BlackBerry. Honestly.
We were talking about Blackberries yesterday, yeah.
2000s night.
2000s night, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this was just overall, this is big. And you mentioned it, the track record that Holmes now has of the players that he has drafted in his short tenure with the Lions, but it has now been extended to quite some time when you really think about it.
This is year 6, man.
The amount of guys that he has had now get paid that were drafted is unbelievable. And you just have to take it back, and this will really get talked about once Jahmyr Gibbs gets his extension as well. That draft class, Gibbs and Campbell going in the first round, and just being in the moment of that, everybody, there was nobody who was like, man, this draft rocks. This first round is sick. Everybody hated those picks after day one. And day two was like, oh, but Branch and Laporta, okay, I can turn myself around on this. But the amount of crap that Holmes got for the Gibbs Campbell thing, and now Campbell is paid, and once Gibbs is paid, it'll really feel like a full circle moment. But yeah, it feels really good to have Jack Campbell locked up after the year that he had.
989-837-6125. So here's what I want to throw out to our audience, back to what we originally were talking about. Scott Harris, AJ Hinch, who is more to blame? We talked about Scott Harris to nth degree yesterday. We talked about AJ Hinch a lot yesterday. That's what I meant to say. Scott Harris. Now it's time to assess him. Who is to blame more of those two guys for the way that this Tiger season has gone? 11 games below 500. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on a Friday, 9 o'clock hour, is brought to you by Iron Stack Technology. They help businesses solve real tech problems securely, efficiently, and without the headache. When your IT is working the way it should, everything else gets easier. Iron Stack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. Check them out online at ironstacktechnology.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building.
AJ Hinch, we talked about him a lot yesterday. Now it's time to assess Scott Harris. Is this guy doing a good job as the Tigers GM, president, whatever you want to call it? Look, there's been more bad with good when it comes to Scott Harris. I can't believe Jack Flaherty's making as much money as he is making. I can't believe the return they got for Jack Flaherty when they traded him 2 years ago to the deadline was as useless as it ended up being. Let's take a look at Tyrone Lorenzo, the prospect they got. Oh, look at that. He fell out of the top 100 rankings. You didn't add a single bat this offseason. You decided to bring back Gleyber Torres and say that was enough. Obviously, Scott Harris had that quote where it was, well, it may be the same roster, but it's a completely different team. Yeah, it's a worse team, dude. It's way worse. Right now, they rank 27th in runs scored, 18th in average, 23rd in OPS. I don't think he's done a good job. You know me, I'm not a huge Scott Harris guy. I never really have been. I will say this, I don't think he should be fired until we get to see Max Clark and Jose Briseño. He's 1-for-1 with the young guys. He's 1-for-1 with the guys that he drafted that have made their big leagues debut. McGonigal's clearly a guy that's worth keeping around. I'm willing to hold out Scott Harris. Not to say he's done a great job. Needs to go spend more externally. Needs to go find more at-bats at the deadline. But I'm not just going to move off of the guy after his prized possession, Kevin McGonigal, hit the ground as fast as he did, and he still has two more of those guys that he's been holding on to in the minors, in Briseño and Max Clark. Those are if those two guys get up and they stink, okay, Max Clark, Scott Harris, goodbye. But I need to see those guys before I'm just ready to tear this thing down again and start a rebuild. I'm not ready for that. At least Scott Harris was trying to do something this offseason, even if it failed miserably. At least he was trying. I'm not down to hire somebody just to tear this thing down and do another rebuild. That sounds even worse.
Yeah, I mean, with the Scott Harris stuff, like, his reputation has always just been built on the prospect pool, right? I mean, that's always been his thing, is he has these guys in the minor leagues that he's drafted. He's talked about it even when the Tigers were competing last year. Like, he is all in on the future of the Tigers, even if some fans felt like the future was now, which it might have been, because look at the team right now compared to the last 2 years that was winning playoff series. But I don't think this is Scott Harris's fault. Like, I actually am, like, completely out on any of this being Scott Harris's fault, because what did the Tigers do this offseason? Like, be aggressive. They were aggressive this offseason. They went out and signed Framber Valdez. Like, what? That came out of nowhere. Like, that is a major signing, the biggest signing the Tigers have had since Javier Baez. And that was just something they kind of had to do because they didn't have a body to play shortstop. And it was, sure, we'll spend money to bring Javi Baez to the Tigers. Why not? Like, them getting Framber Valdez was a big deal. The Kenley Jansen signing, I know it hasn't been, like, amazing. It's had its ups and downs. That was a big deal. Bringing back Verlander, how cool was that? Just from a, like, the fans love Verlander standpoint, and he actually can make an impact on the team. Now, he hasn't made an impact on the team yet, but you didn't expect any of that stuff when those guys were signed. And so, yeah, you can make the argument that he should have brought in a bat and should have done this and that. I think the bringing back of Gleyber Torres and Kevin McGonigal's, ascension to being on the major league roster, which we got to remember, we didn't think he was going to be on the opening day roster either. I think, though, that was plenty enough that needed to be done for this offense. Everyone else has just underperformed.
If I told you, though, that Colt Keith is only ever going to play versus right-handed pitching, I would have been a lot more open and go find a third baseman. But they didn't even, It felt like they didn't even think about that because, we don't want to block Colt Keith. You never play Colt Keith. It feels like Scott Harris wants one thing. AJ Hinch refuses to do it. I'm not saying that these guys are, like, not aligned because everything is that they've spoken about says that. I feel like they're in lockstep, but, like, why are you not signing a third baseman if Colt Keith is only going to play versus one half of the league in terms of the arms that they're playing? That's the part that I don't understand, because that was obviously the position that they needed the most in the offseason was a third baseman. They've needed a third baseman since Miguel Cabrera stopped playing third base. They haven't had a guy to play there.
Oh, come on. Nick Castellanos played third base for a while.
Regardless, it's been since pre-COVID that they've had a legitimate third baseman. And fans, this is where you've been right about it, begging for a third baseman for multiple years, whether it's at the deadline or in the offseason, and they just refuse to do it because they don't want to block their young guys. You don't play them. Play them every day or go find somebody else that will. That's my problem with the method that Scott Harris has had. And I'm with you. Like, it's the young guys. I need to see Max Clark and Jose Briseño before I'm just ready to fire Scott Harris. I don't want to tear this thing down and do another rebuild. I'm not doing that. So I'm willing to give a little bit more time for Scott Harris. I'm not telling you he's done a good job at his literal job, though. The team's falling apart.
Yeah.
He didn't add anybody.
I'm not saying he's doing a good job either. I just think that if we're doing the blame game here, I don't know how much blame I can put on Scott Harris. Now, you're right in the fact that if I'm going to bring up all the stuff preseason that we thought and that has been changed, we also thought that Colt Keith was going to play third every day. And you're right in the fact that, okay, if he's not playing third every day, then who is the alternative guy for that? It's been a combination of How You Lee now has been called up. Zach Short gets some run there. Matt Vierling, I guess, really hasn't played third, but he'll be a righty, and they'll throw McGonigal at third with Javi Baez at short. Like, it's been a combination of guys that if you would have told me that combo preseason, I would have been the same way I feel now. Like, what?
Yeah, bunch of dinguses.
Yeah, exactly. So you're right. It is some blame belonging to Scott Harris. I certainly think he tried this offseason to make this team go all in this year, and I respected him from that factor. We had been talking about it like an all-in season no matter what, but they certainly are not treating it like it right now. I mean, we can't talk about enough the fact that Max Anderson is not here right now.
It's
throw out the cliche
diabolical
stuff of like, oh, you got to make sure you got to do what's best for the prospect, not what's best for the ball club. How about they just do it? I mean, like,
how about you satisfy your fans in one way? In one way, I'd rather see Max Anderson strike out 3 times than Zach Short play baseball ever again for a Tigers team.
Max Anderson could come up and struggle, and I would not be upset about it because he's certainly going to get more hits than Zach Short, who we got a funny YouTube chat earlier from Luke. He said, when Zach Short getting a hit is your highlight, you're doomed, at least in the short term.
The highlight from yesterday was some moron by himself in the upper deck, taking his shirt off and waving it around with his big hairy chest out. That was the highlight of the game yesterday at Comerica Park. And Johnny Kane has to walk his butt up to section 250. Oh, well, what made you want to do this?
Don't make fun of Johnny.
I like Johnny Kane. Why are you interviewing a shirtless guy in the top section of Comerica Park? What has this season become? What's happening? They're 11 games below 500. It makes no sense. So what are we going to talk about? How about this shirtless guy with the hairy chest waving his shirt around? He's the only guy doing it. Let's go talk to him because we have nothing else to discuss with this awful baseball team. They're terrible. Max Anderson, by the way, the reason he's probably not up is because he's only played 13 games. I don't even care. He's only played 13 games with AAA this year. I don't even care. Just play him. 327 average, 806 OPS. Bring him up. He can't be worse than the idiots they have playing in the infield right now. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. The show is always brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Protect your home with the experts who do the job right the first time. Leaky roof, storm damage, siding looking a little tired. Bresky's got you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today. Keep your home strong for years to come.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.
All right. We're feeling a little bit better. Goodness gracious. You start talking about this Tigers team and those kind of crash outs just are going to happen. It's just going to happen. That's okay.
Hey, it's Friday, man.
Crash out Friday. All right, Kyle, take it away with the news.
The Mets Morning Catch.
What was worse, the crash out from the last segment or the crash out on the golf course when for the 7th consecutive time I can't hit a ball onto the green even though I'm 7 feet away from it? What's worse?
I think probably that crash out because the Tigers one I think you can recover from pretty easily. Like you got out of that one pretty quickly. The golf one, it lingers. It goes into the next shot.
Oh, you're 7 feet away from the green. Here's a 3-foot shot. Oh, let's try it again. Right over the green.
But just like in golf, I'll tell you, hey, man, we're just here to have fun, We're here to talk about sports and have fun.
Sure.
Right, yeah, exactly. Okay, let's take a look at the news. Let's talk about something not so fun. We already had someone in our YouTube chat mention it. Pretty sad news in sports this morning. NASCAR icon Kyle Busch passes away yesterday at the age of 41. This was extremely unexpected. Not a lot of information has still been given out about this, but Kyle Busch has always been one of the bigger names in NASCAR. I know we don't talk about NASCAR on this show really ever, but still, I mean, he is a legendary figure in that sport, and really sad to see this at such a young age, and obviously was still racing.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about Kyle Busch. I'm not a NASCAR person, but the fact that I knew his name tells you how big he was.
100%.
Because I don't follow NASCAR at all. Yeah, really sad story. I got the push notification last night. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What happened here? Something tragic, clearly. And it sounded like he got sick 24 hours ago.
Yeah, it there was a story that he was going to miss the race this weekend because of an illness that came out like you said within the last 24 hours, and then you get the notification last night that he passed away, and it's like that doesn't happen.
I'm going to need some more details on that.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for everybody that is a NASCAR fan and just people that family and stuff of Kyle Busch.
So what maybe you can't answer this, and that's fine. Is he like the NASCAR best guy in the business right now?
No. I mean, I don't. Like I said, I don't follow NASCAR like crazy.
I feel like you're a NASCAR guy.
My dad is a big NASCAR fan, so in turn, it kind of like I knew the names of NASCAR. I was a big Jimmy Johnson fan growing up. Didn't know a lot. Jeff Gordon obviously was a guy that I feel like every kid loved Jeff Gordon. I don't think he's like the GOAT. We have RB in the YouTube chat saying he was the Kobe Bryant of NASCAR. Which maybe, unfortunately, that he's just saying that because they both passed away
what does
early.
that mean?
But still, yeah, I mean, Kyle Busch was still he got into it at a really young age and was always, he's been at the top of the sport for basically his whole career. So, yeah, very unfortunate stuff there. Let's move on and to some more positive news in the Covenant Healthcare and Orthopedics injury report. Tarek Skubal throws his third bullpen session yesterday post-rehab, or in the middle of his rehab, I guess you could say. And he says he took a great step. It was his best bullpen session yet. He said his fastball got to the spot where he has been wanting it to get back to. He did shut down, and same thing happened with A.J. Hinch as well. Any rumors of, he's going to come back in a week. He's still going to have to make a official rehab start, maybe multiple of them, probably multiple of them, actually, before he does return to Detroit. But nonetheless, Tarek Skubal's progression is still moving at a pretty rapid rate.
Does he finish his season on the Detroit Tigers? I will give you even odds both ways. Plus 100 both ways. What would you take?
I would take that he does finish his season on the Tigers. If it's even odds, I would lean that way.
All right. I don't know, man.
Would you not?
If this keeps up, no, he's going to get dealt at the deadline.
Yeah, we got another. The guy who we talked about a lot last week, John Heyman, or I think this was maybe 2 weeks ago at this point, put out some more Skubal propaganda yesterday. Of course, he's Scott Boris's best friend. He tweets out yesterday, Tarek Skubal trade chances are rising. Tigers have lost 14 of 16 last game, blah, blah, blah. Skubal is progressing since elbow scope. Tigers' chances to extend him are nil, he says.
So let's take a step back and think about this from a Scott Boras standpoint. And let's just, for the sake of this, say Scott Boras is literally on John Heyman's Twitter tweeting this. What is the reasoning for putting this sort of message out there? How does this help Tarek Skubal? Read the tweet one more time.
Yeah, 1 second. He says, Tarek Skubal trade chances are rising. 1, Tigers have lost 14 of 16, 5 games out in the wild card race. 2, Tigers have 5 starters on IL. 3, Skubal is progressing since elbow scope. And 4, Tigers' chances to extend him are nil.
This is, it's to me, like an invite. You're casting your line out there of like, hey, man, if you want to trade for him, now's your chance to come get him.
Yes, I think that's what it is. And I think it's also like hey, the teams really want Tarek Skubal still. It's still just more pushing up the fact that, like, his value is still crazy high. The contract he's going to get is still crazy high because he's coming back. Like, because
the Tigers can't afford the contract that he is going to
100%.
get.
Because also, like, it's not a great look if Skubal gets, like, if he does get traded and it's for way less than we initially thought. Obviously, that would suck for Tigers fans, but it's not a good look for Skubal and his representation going into the offseason because it literally tells the public how the other 29 major league teams view his value is as a trade asset or on the open market. So if you're Scott Boras, you want him to get traded for the ultimate bag because then it means, okay, these teams still really value this guy and we might have a competitiveness in the offseason for a contract as well.
What does that look like? Do you want 1 or 2 top 100 prospects?
Oh,
I don't think it's 3. It's definitely
I think
not
it's certainly
3.
2 top 100 prospects. Now, not every team in baseball can sit here and say they have like 2 amazing top 100 prospects, but
Dodgers can.
Just the entire Tulsa outfield for Tarek Skubal.
I was thinking, is there any chance that the Dodgers would be willing to move Rushing?
I mean, on paper, you would think so, right? Will Smith is locked up for like a decade. Rushing is just the backup catcher, and when he's hit, he's been awesome.
And then could the Tigers just be like, hey, Torkelson, kick rocks. This is our new first baseman.
I mean, you could.
He's played 8 games at first base for the Dodgers.
He played a little bit of outfield when he went up, too.
He's played 4 games this year as the first baseman for the Dodgers. So
okay.
It's possible.
Yeah. I mean, if they've played him there, yeah. I mean, obviously, Freddie Freeman is in that spot. Maybe the Dodgers plan post Freddie Freeman is that, but I don't know when post Freddie Freeman is happening. You know, and you would love for him to stick around as long as possible. So,
like, would you be satisfied if it was like Dalton Rushing plus?
I think Dalton Rushing plus any of those guys is like a pretty good return.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Right?
I feel like the Dodgers are the stars are kind of aligning to make that trade again. And if it's anything like the last time Scott Harris traded with the Dodgers will win the trade. By a lot.
I mean, everyone always says you win the trade if you get the best player. But the Dodgers also seem to win the trade with like everyone.
Time.
Literally every team they ever deal with. So it's interesting, man. I think we're going to have a lot of Tarek Skubal trade talks because we've gone back and forth, right? Initially, when he got injured, you were like, oh, they're going to trade him. And I was like, there's no way they trade him. He's injured. They're not going to take pennies on the dollar for him. And then we pivoted to they're going to re-sign him. Like, I never thought they'd ever re-sign him. They actually might now. And I think it's starting to get moved back to they might trade him.
Well, yeah, they haven't won. They've won.
If they stink, I mean,
they've won 2 games since he's gotten hurt.
Yeah, if they stink and you don't trade him, that would be like, okay, Scott Harris should be canned for this.
Yeah,
unless you do extend him, but
seems unlikely.
It does seem unlikely. Yes. We'll do a couple other things here in the news. Last night, Knicks go up 2-0 on the Cavs. Pretty tight game for a while. Knicks were holding on to about a 5-10. It stretched into double digits for a while. Point lead for the most of this one. Josh Hart has a huge game, 26 points, shot the lights out from deep as well. Knicks have now won. How many games in a row? Like 8 games in a row in the playoffs.
And they're looking good, man. They really are. Because they went down. There was 2-2 with Atlanta. They have not lost since. I can't live in a world where the Knicks are champions. I can't do that.
I mean, we're not threatened that they're going to be champions yet, are we?
My only concern is that the Thunder...
It's 9 straight wins, actually, because they were down 2-1 to Atlanta.
My only concern is that the Thunder and the Pacers and the Spurs literally go a 12-round fight. Players are getting hurt left and right. We've got Jalen Williams with a hamstring injury. We've got Dylan Harper. What if these teams just beat each other up so much that they're 50% of themselves, and then the Knicks just sweep their way to a finals and just are well rested by the time it starts? And meanwhile, whoever comes out of the West is running on fumes at that point. I think either of the West teams are better, but they might kill each other before they get there.
Well, the sports books would tell you that they still favor either West team. Thunder are -110 to win it. Spurs +210. Knicks +390. I mean, +390 to win the finals right now for New York without even knowing which West team it's going to be. And I assume they're going to take care of business against Cleveland. I know the Cavs were down 2-0 in the last series as well. I feel like this is a little bit different. Pretty interesting. I think it's good, though, if the Knicks are in the finals. Like, I do want them in the finals.
I mean, the NBA's dreaming of a Knicks versus Spurs finals.
Knicks versus either, I think, is just great for the NBA in general. But
sure,
yes,
but
Knicks Spurs is the best.
Yeah, if you
100%.
get Wemby in a finals at 22 and he's your face of the league for the next 10 years versus the biggest market you have.
Yeah,
it doesn't really get better than
now,
that.
if the alternative option is, okay, the biggest market you have in the Knicks versus the reigning champions with the back-to-back MVP, that's also not so bad.
No, not at all. Text from Jaden says, Ben, ready to swing this morning. You know who's not ready to swing? Any of the Tigers when there's a 2-2 count.
Oh, come on, Jaden. You got him right back into it. Good thing I got this distance between us, or else he'd be swinging on me right now.
2 days ago, 9th inning, Riley Green comes to the plate, chance to win the game. What does he do? 2-2 count. Fastball right down the middle. Nothing. It's the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here right on 100.9 The Mitt. Told you the show's brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Teed up at Sandy Ridge Golf Course this weekend. Midland's hidden gem where every round feels like a little bit of a getaway. Now featuring a brand new clubhouse, part lounge, part hangout, all class, perfect for cooling down or talking smack after 18. Kyle and I have been playing there all summer long. Even though the weather hasn't been great, we've been playing there. The clubhouse is amazing, man. It really is. Get to look over 18. Get to watch the brand new hole 18. Really nice, by the way.
Man, they're making some great progress on that, too.
Smooth greens, scenic fairways, enough birdies to make your buddies jealous, whether you're a weekend warrior or just there for the vibes. Sandy Ridge brings the game and the chill. Book a tee time, plan your outing, or just stop by and pretend you know how to read a green. That is Sandy Ridge Golf Course, the hidden gem that's way too good to stay a secret.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. Built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Got a text that says, trade him for 3 prospects and let him go. He was a good tool for a while it lasted, but the Scooble Tigers era is over. I mean, if they're this many games out, if they're 11 games under by the time the deadline rolls around, yeah, goodbye. Sorry, Scoobs. Thanks for all you've done. Thanks for making a pain in the butt last offseason. But he's as good as gone if that's going to be the case. And I wouldn't even blame Scott Harris.
No, I mean, I would blame him if he didn't. You have to trade him if you're that bad at the deadline. If you're as bad as you are now.
Expiring contract, almost no chance of re-signing him. Yeah, you have to move him. In terms of the Scott Harris, like right now, blame for this situation that they're in, I mean, he certainly deserves a good amount of it with the lack of additions in free agency in the lineup. You know, he had that quote after the season end where it's like, I stay up at night trying to figure out how a team that won this many games in the first half falls apart here in the second half. Maybe because the first half was way more fraudulent than any of us could have possibly imagined. They were super awesome in the last month of the 2024 season. They were great for the first 2 months of the 25 season. Other than that, Scott Harris's tenure has been pretty disastrous for this Detroit Tigers team. Joe says, I think it's more of an ownership issue. His hands are a little tied. If he leaves, I feel like it'll be on his own accord. Well, I don't think he's just like leaving just to leave, you know? I also don't think we can really blame ownership anymore now that they're a top 10 payroll spending team. I'm not going to blame Chris Ilitch for what's going on here. He's got no control of this, of the roster management. He spent money. The one thing that we asked him to do. Top 10 payroll. I'm not blaming Chris Ilitch at all.
No, I'm not either. And the only thing that he really refused to do was give Scooble the crazy contract that he just seemingly is not going to get. So, once again, it's like, okay, this really kind of worked out for him.
Bill says, I don't know, he's been here a few years. The team has made the playoffs the last 2 years. A lot of the players are not performing, are not his draft picks. They were Avila's, Torque, Carp, and others. Harris has had some very bad free agent acquisitions. Kind of like Stevie, I'd give him some more time before I'm ready to give up on him. Again, I'm not giving up on. I don't love him. I don't think he's made a lot of great moves. I'm not moving off of him and letting someone else come in and start a new vision when Max Clark and Jose Briseño are still in the minors. Like, at the very least, you got to give credit for Scott Harris. He's 1-for-1 with his draft picks making it to the majors. Kevin McGonigal, 1-for-1. Max Clark, we'll see. Jose Briseño still hurt right now, but those are like your three. Those are your big three guys. Obviously, McGonigal is levitated above everyone else, but if those two guys can make it to the bigs and are successful, okay, like Scott Harris still has that to hang his hat on, and I'm okay with keeping him around until we see whether or not the jury's in or out on those two guys.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the only right thing to do. If there was a major overreaction that had to be made from the way the Tigers are playing, it would first start with the manager and not the general manager, right?
Yeah. The AJ Hinch stuff. I mean, AJ Hinch probably is more. If AJ Hinch went to Scott Harrison and was like, brother, I can't keep playing Zach Short. I need to call up Max or somebody else from the minors. What do you got? I feel like Scott Harris probably would just do that. And it feels like AJ Hinch is just like pretty content with rolling out Hao Lee and Zach McKinstry and Zach Short every day, over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's just so bad.
Terry says AJ deserves more blame. He's constantly moving players around on defense and in the batting order. No one can get into a rhythm. Yeah, how about you just play your best? You know, it'd be awesome. No matter what, lefty or righty on the mound, Kevin McGonigal leads off. Riley Green's in the 3-hole. Dylan Dingler's somewhere up in the top 2. Figure out someone to play in that 2 spot. Like, you don't need to big brain this when you only have 3.5 good players on the team right now. Just have those guys bat in the top 3. It's not that difficult. Riley Green should just be in the 2-hole. If he's not going to hit the mass amount of home runs, why not just, bam, Kevin McGonigal, Riley Green. And then you can put Dingler in the 3-hole. And pray that you can score some runs in the first inning.
I mean, even like in this 14 of 16 losing streak that the Tigers are on.
Sounds made up, but it's not.
It's really terrible. How many times do you think they have scored 3 or more than 3 runs in 16 games, more than 3 runs, which is pretty, not that hard to do.
3 times.
3 times exactly. And they have scored 3 or less runs in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games. 7 games in a row, it's 3 or less runs.
27th in runs scored, man.
Unbelievable.
Put all those guys together. It's not Chris Ilitch or Scott Harris's fault that the last 6 guys, I guess it's a little bit Scott Harris's fault, that the last 6 guys in this lineup are just god-awful. Bring up some of the minor league guys. Please, for the love of God. I'd rather watch them than watch. We know Zach Short stinks. We know he's never going to be a good major leaguer. There's no point in giving him more opportunities to try to prove himself. It's just not going to happen.
Exactly, because the only thing that you can rely on right now as a Tigers fan as far as this season getting turned around is hope. Is the hope that the injured guys are going to come back and make things right. So to add hope, because that's the only thing that you can even be positive about right now, there's hope with the minor league guys. There's hope with the prospects, with Max Anderson. Like, there's no hope with Zach Short. I think all the hope is gone with Wenzel Perez, right?
Oh, I mean, he's the worst player in the majors. So. He actually might be the worst player in the majors. He's a disaster.
It's funny you say that because we had a YouTube chat earlier that I just thought was so funny. Nick says, they're literally the worst team in baseball right now and possibly the worst in baseball history.
Okay, that might be a little aggressive, but...
It's like you saying Wenzel Perez is the worst player in baseball. It's like, it's just kind of funny to think about. Maybe he's the worst player ever.
The worst player to ever... It doesn't make sense because last year he actually had some power against righties, switch hitter, nice OPS, and then the last month of last year he was just
once again,
a waste of a roster spot.
He was a part of that group of dudes that just had really good starts to the year.
Mm-hmm.
And just like
everybody,
just like you did yesterday, talking about the last 81 games of the regular season, you could probably do the last 81 games played for that group of guys as well. Because the only reason why the Tigers weren't aggressive this offseason is because they had that sample size of the first half of last year with guys like Zach McKinstry and Javi Baez and Jahmai Jones, and even we mentioned with Wenzel Perez. Like, those guys had the stretches at the beginning of the year. They're like, oh, but it's in there somewhere. They've got it. No, they don't.
Wenzel Perez has a negative 1.1 WAR in 35 games. That is impressively bad. By the way, Spencer Torkelson, second worst WAR on the team. Parker Meadows, who has not played since game 12 of the season. He's played in 12 games with a .2 WAR, Kyle, has the 5th best WAR on the team.
Unreal. It's that defense.
It's the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on the Mitt. Let's talk more about this Lions extension with Jag Campbell, who is next when we come back in the 10 o'clock hour. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on the Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on...
Lazy Electric Studios. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show. Welcome back, everybody. Jack Campbell signed with the Detroit Lions. I love it, man. I think Kyle might be the only other person in the world that knows how much I love Jack Campbell. I'll pat myself on the back. Before the season even started, I was like, Jack Campbell, all-pro season, incoming, and look at that, first-team all-pro. I love this guy. I love what he's about. I love the mentality he brings to the Detroit Lions. I knew from the very jump that it was going to be like Gibbs, Branch, Laporta, Campbell. Oh, who's the most likely guy to get re-signed first? Yeah, it was always going to be Jack Campbell. He's everything that they stand for, captain of the defense type of guy. Could be Dan Campbell's son. Like, they are the exact same person.
And they have the same last name.
That's what I'm saying. Could be his son. So not surprised to see him become the second highest paid linebacker in the NFL. That was always going to happen at some point. The randomness of it being yesterday, I guess, was a little surprising, but it was not a surprise that it was going to happen at some point this offseason. Now the question becomes, who is next for the Detroit Lions? Is it Sam Laporta, who is dealing with a back injury this offseason and last year? Who is it going to be? Brian Branch, who obviously is dealing with the Achilles tear? Or is it going to be Jahmyr Gibbs? Gibbs has the most buzz about it. We've made a lot of different conversation points since the Lions season ended of being hesitant to be able to give a running back a 4-year deal. Why that's a little bit concerning. Just based on the reporting and the noise around it, though, it feels like that's the next one that's going to happen before Laporta and before Branch. Branch, it seems like that's basically impossible to get done right now with the Achilles injury. I assume they're going to want to see him play on that first. Laporta's sketchy, but back injuries are just so tough, man. I think it's Gibbs. I think Gibbs is the next one that they're actually going to end up getting done if I'm trying to make a prediction on things.
That feels right, just because the other two guys have a little bit of question marks involved with them, right?
Mm-hmm. They're also the first-round picks. Like, I think Gibbs is clearly the most important player of those three guys as well. Like, no disrespect to Brian Branch or Laporta, but come on, Gibbs is like, I mean, if the other team is scheming up, hey, here's our game plan against the Lions. Bullet point 1, subsection A, Roman numeral 1. Don't let Jahmyr Gibbs break loose. Like, he is at the top of every defense's scouting report.
100%.
Him and J-Mo probably. As great as Amon-Ra is, it's probably the two speed demons that are, like, really, and that's part of the reason I think Jameson Williams got locked up when a lot of people, including myself, didn't think that was going to happen until he proved it. And then he certainly proved it this past season. For those two reasons, like the things that you can't coach, the things that you can't teach, the speed, I think that is so important to bring back, so important to the offense. Part of the reason I think Gibbs is the most likely guy to get an extension before the season starts, more so than Laporta, more so than Brian Branch.
And we had talked about this a while back. It feels like not all four of them are going to get extensions because it just is, not only is it aggressive, but it's just, wow, like, is that even, are they capable to do that right now? And they've been clever with the cap.
I think they can do it. I think they can pull
But
it
will
off.
they? Will all four of those guys get before game 1 this year?
That I don't know about because of the Brian Branch injury, but
that's what I'm saying.
Like, there's such a lack of spending in free agency. It's for this reason specifically. It's because they want to extend all of their all-pro guys from this draft class, all their Pro Bowlers.
Fair.
And if they can continue to draft, I don't know if they'll ever have a draft quite like this one, but if they can continue to draft high-level players year in and year out and add to the starting lineups, I'm okay with them not splurging and splashing in free agency. Because here's the thing, guys, like, the Lions fans are, they need to go make a big move. The best players don't get to free agency, and it's been like that across all sports for a long time. The best free agent we had this year was Trey Hendrickson, and he was on the trade block for 2 years and nobody wanted him. Like, the best players just get extended before. So I'm okay with them not having splurge signings in free agency and making all-in moves and spending their money that way. If it means they can just continue to replenish talent in the draft and sign everyone until they cannot sign or extend one of their own draftees, I'm just going to work off the assumption that they can re-sign everybody. And as difficult as that sounds to pull off, there's no evidence that they're not going to be able to do it.
I mean, does Anzalone count?
No. He's not one of their own guys. And he's also like 30.
Right.
The draftees will never be of that age by the time they're getting their extensions. Campbell's 26 right now.
2026, I mean, never know.
Oh, you're saying the players are coming in way older now?
Got 26-year-old college football players, man. No, I'm just joking.
I mean, it's fair, but it's also, you know what I'm saying.
Right. So I'm with you in the fact that if it feels like the next guy to get paid, you're predicting who it is Gibbs, because, one, you have the other running back conversations that have been had this offseason. Devon Achane gets paid by Miami. Bijan Robinson has gotten talked about all offseason about what his contract is going to look like. Of course, that matters to Gibbs being in the same draft class. And then on top of it with Branch and Laporta, they each, I would be really surprised if they paid Branch, honestly, from both sides, from the Lions side and from Branch's representation as well.
Yeah, if you're Brian Branch, you're looking to become one of the highest paid safeties in the NFL. And if you're the Lions,
it's not happening right now. Yeah,
you're probably just not doing that, especially because you already made one of your other safeties the highest paid guy in the NFL, highest paid safety, that is. And who knows what's happening with his knee.
And yet, I think at the end of last year, we had said that Laporta feels like the most unlikely guy to get paid.
Yeah, we did.
So that just auto gives it to Gibbs. I mean, every single sign is pointing towards him right now, and he was the first guy taken out of all four of those group of guys.
And he probably just has the biggest down-to-down impact, even though he's a running back, which is not typically a position in which you have that down-to-down impact. But I think even when he's on the field, even when he's not getting touches, a simple play action really freaks defenses out.
Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, he's the number one game plan. The linebackers, even on a play action, have to shift towards him and play and really respect the run. Even without a good offensive line last year, you had to do it because he's so damn fast, and you can't let him get loose on the outside. Otherwise, you're done. When Jahmyr Gibbs actually hits full speed, it's over. There's no other player in the NFL like him.
100%. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that he would be the guy that is next to get paid. But man, this Campbell contract, you're right. You nailed this. This was something that you talked about going into the offseason. Jack Campbell is probably going to be the first guy to get paid, of course, declining his fifth-year option. This feels like a pretty good dollar amount. 51 of this is guaranteed?
Yeah, I think that's the third highest number in the NFL behind Roquan Smith and Fred Warner. And then in terms of the AAV, annual average salary, he's second in the league, only behind Fred Warner, which honestly, you got to give Brad Holmes credit for this one. I fully expected him to be the highest paid linebacker in the NFL, considering Fred Warner, when he signed that extension of giving him the 21 a year, he was 29 years old, and Jack Campbell's playing as good as him. I guess he's only done it for one season, and maybe that's why, but he's 26. You assume he's going to continue to get better. I thought he would have reset the market for that age, and he didn't. It was below the Fred Warner number. So, yeah, unlike the center market, which just skyrocketed forever this offseason, linebacker market staying the same, even though Jack Campbell kind of skyrocketed. Jack Campbell locked up till 2030, until the time he's 29, 30 years old. You kind of can just assume he's going to be one of the best linebackers in the NFL every year that he's under this contract.
Well, and even I saw a friend of the show, Jeremy Reisman, tweeted this out after this contract came out yesterday. The Roquan Smith deal was signed 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's making more money than Jack Campbell. That's not how this works. That's why every year we always get to it's a new highest paid X position, because the money just goes up and up and the contracts get bigger and better each year. That contract was 3 years ago, and Campbell's making barely more per year dollar amount.
And Jack Campbell's
crazy.
I don't really care. I just want to play football. The money's irrelevant to
me. And he's younger, and he's just coming off a first-team All-Pro season. It feels like a tremendous deal that the Lions got done with him.
I don't think it's crazy to call him the best linebacker in the NFL. I think you still have to give it to Fred Warner.
It's Warner.
But he was hurt all of last season.
Yeah.
Came back in the playoffs, I think. Or did he didn't end up coming back? He was supposed to. I don't remember. It's blurry.
I don't think he did, yeah.
I think if they would have won, he was supposed to come back.
Something like that.
I think it's those two guys, though, as the best off-ball middle linebackers in the NFL. Guys that you can literally, the off-ball linebacker is not a crazy impactful position unless you have one of these top-tier guys. And Jack Campbell, without a doubt, put himself in that conversation where it's we have a captain of the defense here.
For sure.
More so than Hutch. I love Hutch. Jack Campbell's the captain of the defense, man. He's the green dot.
Is he the best player on the defense?
He was last season. I think,
Is he the best player on the defense?
Relative to the position and their peers?
No.
I think the answer is yes.
Is he the best player on the defense? That's all I'm asking you, without any caveats.
Yeah, he is. Hutchinson plays the more impactful position. Kirby Joseph swings games, but down to down, every single snap, Jack Campbell is consistently the best player. Would you agree there? I think there's an argument for...
I think I would go Hutch, but I certainly don't disagree. I mean, you have kind of teased it up for quite some time that you feel this way, and I just didn't know if you had only felt that way just about last season as a whole, or in general you felt that he was.
Well, it's like asking who the best player is on offense. It's obviously Penei Sewell, but like the most impactful is probably Jared Goff. The most impactful position on defense is Aiden Hutchinson, but the best player, snap in, snap out, is Jack Campbell.
Yeah, Luke describes it in the YouTube chat as saying, Hutch is flashy, but Campbell is just consistently solid.
Yeah, the thing with Hutchinson, too, is like he is consistently getting pressures. And I know some people want him to just have the sacks. He was top 5 in sacks, by the way. I'll never understand, he doesn't finish plays enough. He's top 5 in sacks, guys. The pressures is a real stat. It's a real thing. Some people think it's made up. Oh, he's the pressures. No, it's a real thing because you know how I know it's a real thing? Guess what? Al-Quadin Muhammad, James Houston rack up double-digit sacks. James Houston was 7.5 in 8 games. But, like, those guys aren't getting the sacks unless Aiden Hutchinson's causing the pressure every single time. Now, do I wish Aiden Hutchinson would not line up 7 yards off the tackle? Yeah, because it takes further to get to the quarterback or longer to get to the quarterback. He impacts the play every single game, though, or every single play. Like, there's not a whole lot of snaps where Aiden Hutchinson's not making an impact. It's hard to get 100 pressures, and Hutchinson's done it twice. But Jack Campbell also, like, do you remember that Baltimore game Monday night where they were going for 2 or it was 4th and 2 on the goal line, basically, and the Ravens needed to pick it up, and Jack Campbell basically just chased down Lamar Jackson? That was the first moment where it's like, geez, man. Jack Campbell is unbelievable. 4 forced fumbles this year, 5 sacks. I'm glad he's locked up. 989-837-6125. I miss football, man. I really do. Now that basketball's over, I'm like sick for football. Basketball's over for the Pistons.
We've only got 3 months. And our baseball team stinks.
And the baseball team stinks. Yeah, that's right.
It'll be a tough summer.
Hey, man, quick shout out to Eastman Party Store, your one-stop shop for everything you need before this weekend hits. Whether you're grabbing cold drinks, snacks for the game, or realizing last second that you do need ice, Eastman Party Store has you covered. Heading to a tailgate, house party, or just sitting in them on the couch tonight, make it easy on yourself. Stop by Eastman Party Store, get in, get out, and get on with your night. Eastman Party Store, quick stop, great selection, and always clutch when you need them most.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mix. And Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, so the NBA playoffs continue tonight. I'm not going to lie to you, Kyle. I just can't stand for the Knicks winning a title, or like they're going to win this series, unfortunately. That is the number one thing I do not want to happen. I would rather the OKC foul baiters, the OKC floppers win a title than the Knicks. And I know John's probably listening to this like, this guy just doesn't want to see me happy. I don't think it has anything to do with John. Might have a little bit to do with John.
I mean, there's no way it doesn't.
There's maybe a little bit to do with John, but I can't do it, man. I can't listen to Knicks content all summer long. I don't like hearing about it. This is like if the Dallas Cowboys won a title. I can't listen to this. This is like my worst case scenario. So, yes, I am rooting against the Knicks in this series against the Cavs. You asked me yesterday, or can you not watch this? Are you mad watching this series? And I said, no, the Pistons don't deserve to be in it. I take it all back. I am upset watching this series. It's annoying. I can't stand the fact that the Knicks are going to make a finals when I feel like the Pistons could have given them a better run for their money if they, just won a Game 7 versus Cleveland or didn't blow a 2-0 lead.
Close, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so incredibly frustrated with this. I don't think it's a secret to you or our audience. I'm rooting for the Spurs. I love Victor Wembanyama. I've always been fascinated with the greats. I want to see the greats win titles. I want to see them rise up the ranks of the best players of all time. I think I'm fascinated with the idea that this is the first potential top 10 player of all time that I've seen from start to finish. By the time I became aware of basketball, started watching, and by the time I truly fell in love with the sport, LeBron was already at the peak of his powers. He was winning MVPs and titles. I think the decision and him moving to Miami was the first real season that I watched in the NBA. Win a championship 2 years later. By the time I really started liking it, he was back with Cleveland. That was peak basketball as a kid for me, winning titles. By the time I really, fully started to understand the sport on a higher level and talk about it like that, guess what? Still winning titles with the Lakers in COVID. So I didn't get to see LeBron. I remember Victor Wembanyama watching this dude's highlights when he was 16 years old and being like, what is this? This isn't normal. This guy's going to be awesome. And for it to actually play out the way that it has, yeah, I'm rooting for this guy. I want to see it. I think he's the most entertaining guy in the league. I love watching him on both ends of the floor. When the Knicks games or when the Spurs games are on, literally all I do is watch him. I don't even watch the ball. I had to go see him in person this year. I'm fascinated with this guy, and I want to see him take down and topple OKC, this supposed dynasty that everyone had been writing in. After 1 year, look at the assets. Look how young they are. They're going to be a dynasty. For him alone to take this team down, I think would be fascinating. So I am rooting for the Spurs first and foremost. Then I'm rooting for anybody but the Knicks. Unfortunately, I think they're going to beat the Cavs, so I'd rather OKC win as my second team. The Knicks are third.
And the Cavs are fourth?
I suppose so. That would just be a boring offseason.
So you say, unfortunately, the Knicks are going to beat the Cavs. No, we want the Knicks in the finals, 100%.
Yes,
no one wants Cleveland in the finals without LeBron. I mean, that just sounds like the worst thing ever. So
sorry, Donovan Mitchell's just not a slap on the poster guy for the NBA.
Right.
Not anymore.
He even has the celebrity girlfriend. It doesn't even really matter. So for for the Knicks to make it, it's the best for the league. It's the best for everybody. Yeah, John is in the YouTube chat, by the way, saying this guy just doesn't want to see me happy.
That's not true,
He just
John.
said exactly what you said you were going to say.
It's not that I don't want to see him happy. I don't want to see him coming with the Jalen Brunson graphic T-shirt every day with sunglasses, walking around like this every day.
He's probably going to do that again today.
Yeah, I know. And something about that really made me mad when he did that 2 days ago. And again, I'm happy for him. I'm just jealous. I think it is.
A lot of things
I
make
envy
you mad,
him. Yeah, like the Detroit Tigers.
Right.
Who are you rooting for?
I don't really know what I'm rooting for, if I'm being honest. I'm with you in the fact that like the Knicks can't win just because it is like the Cowboys comparison is great. There's nothing better than when there's a collection of fans of the sport, not just like Tigers fans or Pistons fans or whatever it is. Just fans of the sport in general can collectively make fun of the same team and kind of all just be like, oh, we don't want that team to win. And it's like that with the Cowboys. Like the whole bit of like, oh, the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl since the 90s. Oh, the Knicks haven't won a world title since the 70s.
73, baby.
Like that, doing that is fun. It's fun to continuously say that. And so that's why I don't want them to win. Now, I certainly want them to be in the finals. And if they did win, I wouldn't be like all that hard pressed about it. Like it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I like Stephen A. And I like when Stephen A. just goes on there and like talks crap about all the other teams that are playing the Knicks. I think that's funny. And so, yeah, that helps from that perspective. As far as the Western Conference goes, I'm not like rooting for the Spurs, but I certainly would rather have them play in it than the Thunder, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm terrified either way. I'm not going to lie. Like it's one of those things that I'm super happy that the Pistons are in the East because these two teams, that the Spurs and Thunder, I know it's cliche to be like, oh, it's going to be these two teams are going to battle it out for a decade in the conference finals. We say that a lot of the times when there's just two young teams that are good that do it once.
They probably will.
It's like a Rockets-Warriors thing for a while. They probably just will. Like you say it'd be crazy for Wemby to do this alone. No. He's certainly not doing this alone.
Yeah, that was a little disrespectful towards those other guys, but you know what I mean.
The Spurs core is insane, and it's hard to like recognize that with how you feel about OKC's core because they just had that incredibly young big three last year with the MVP and Shea and all the assets that they have.
And Chet was the
like,
number one like high school guy,
Yeah.
so you've known him forever. Was there with Gonzaga when they had
right.
their run.
It feels like every year they add a guy at the back end of the lottery that just is going to make a huge impact. You know, AJ Mitchell's another guy that went later in the first round that all of a sudden is a huge asset to them. Cason Wallace, like they nail their draft with good role players every year. The Spurs having Wemby, Castle, and Harper.
Yeah, Castle, who like was just on Dan Hurley's UConn teams that won national championships. Like that just kind of gets swept under the radar sometimes because of Wemby, but that guy rocks.
He's
in
insane.
every way.
The fact that they went those three guys in 3 straight drafts, one is just like, I'm so jealous of it. I'm almost more jealous of what the Spurs have than what the Thunder have done because the Thunder like were very strategic in the way that they did everything. And I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, the Spurs just like got lucky. But you just drafted 3 insane players in 3 straight drafts in the top 5 of all of those classes. Like, that's unbelievable to think about. And so the fact that they have all 3 of those guys and they're already sitting here in the conference finals, I'm just fearful of whoever gets there. Whoever does win, that's why I'm not rooting for anyone, because I'm terrified. If OKC goes back-to-back,
yeah, and Shea has to be in like Kobe conversations.
Right, exactly.
No,
and
thank
then
you.
And then if the Spurs win, it's like, okay, so all of NBA history has just been ignored with this team. The fact that they are just winning the title without any playoff experience before that, the only guy that's got any sort of run on their team is Harrison Barnes.
He doesn't really play more than like
Same with
15 minutes
Luke
a game.
Cornett, I guess, as well. Like, you know, like none of De'Aaron Fox played in 1 playoff series.
And this is the worst Wemby's going to be for the next 10 years. He's just going to
This
get
is the
better.
worst all of them are going to be.
Right.
It's like, and I get like it is all centered around Wemby, but I think we're kind of forgetting how good this backcourt could be generational between Castle and Harper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is an unbelievable backcourt. De'Aaron Fox is a former All-NBA, All-Star player who's just getting tossed to the side. Like, who cares about De'Aaron Fox? We got these two guys.
He hasn't played. It hasn't mattered.
It doesn't matter. The guy was the MVP of the All-Star game this year, I think, wasn't he? De'Aaron Fox, because he hit the game-winning shot?
Yeah.
Like, and who cares about him? He's a side salad. We got the entrees right here. Like, those two guys are unbelievable.
The Spurs
Wemby,
are like a steak dinner with like a loaded baked potato as one of its sides. That's Stephon Castle. And what's your next favorite like premium side dish? Whatever that is, that's Dylan
exactly.
Harper. And Wemby's in an expensive steak that I can't name because I don't really know expensive steaks like that. A Wagyu?
Wagyu, yeah, could be.
Yeah, Wemby's that, and you get 2 awesome sides with it as well.
Exactly. It's like
Wemby's 22, man. You're not supposed to win a title as the best player until you're 27.
Right.
Shea did it as 26, and it was shocking.
Castle's like the okay, I've got the loaded baked potato with Harper, and Castle's the, you know what? I'll pay the $5 extra to get the side of shrimp with my steak as well. Or whatever you pay, probably more than $5 extra. Like, that's what that is. You could take Wemby out of the team, remove him from the Spurs, and it would already be like a, wow, this team having those 2 young guards going forward, that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And now add in the most generational prospect we've seen since LeBron.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe ever?
I'm terrified of that team. And so that's why I'm not really rooting for anyone. I'm just scared of the outcome. And maybe that means I'm scared of I want the Knicks to win then, since I'm saying that. But either of those teams coming back with fuel and vengeance, that also scares me as well. I just don't want them to get Trey Murphy.
I'm just not sure how any other team GM in the West is supposed to justify thinking they can put a title contender together if the Spurs go on to win this thing. And they just have all their guys for the foreseeable future without really having to lose anybody because they're all on rookie deals still. Except Wemby will get the extension this year. It's just how do we actually think that we're going to beat this team when Wemby's only going to get better? The season, if they end up losing this series to OKC because they're going to continue to beat Wemby up the way that they did in Game 2 and just hit him over and over and over again, that dude is hitting the gym this offseason, and he is coming back the same way Michael Jordan came back after the Pistons beat the literal crap out of him, and he had to put on 15 pounds of muscle. That is how Wemby is treating this offseason. Last year, he went to China, and I read a story yesterday that everybody knows he went to China, studied with monks, mental sharpness. That's just next level stuff for a guy who's 21 and wants to understand that part of his mind more, the mental strength. I read a story that he dribbled a basketball up a 6-mile hike up a mountain. So it's this guy's crazy. He's actually nuts. And this is him at 22 years old as maybe the most mentally sharp superstar we've ever had at this age.
But if Shea did all that, would we call it corny? I think we would. Neil in our YouTube
chat says... There's something really authentic about Wemby, though.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
The quote he had a couple weeks ago where it's I'm not going to hold the burden of hiding my emotions, because he was basically crying after a game because he was so happy that they won. It was I love this guy so much, man. I love everything about him.
And I think people just like to root against the Thunder.
Yeah,
it's a tough brand of basketball to get behind. I'm with you on that point. Neil in our YouTube chat, he doesn't like it. He says, let's not pretend Adam Silver's NBA doesn't suck.
I mean, yeah, there's things we can nitpick about the NBA. The NBA is not perfect. I think we can all acknowledge that. This series tonight, I have no complaints. I mean, I do with the OKC whistle. But the fact that they have someone going at him and taking them down in that, this series tonight, I mean, it's right up there with Cavs Warriors. If Cavs Warriors is a 10, this is a 9 to me.
Right.
So yeah, the NBA has its problems. I don't think this is the time to address them. The series have been amazing in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference Finals for that matter. 989-837-6125. That's the NBA. We'll take a trip around the NFL when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Ugh.
All right, welcome back in. It's the Ben Bosscher Show. Let's take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
All right, I've got from Nick Shook, NFL.com, NFL's make or break players for 2026. I will name the player. You tell me if they are going to make or break their NFL careers this season. All right?
Oh, so it's make or break for them, not for their team.
No. For the players.
Okay.
First up, a guy that you hold dear to your heart, that you claim as a Spartan dog.
Okay.
Keon Coleman. Is he going to make or break his season this year, his career this year? Remember, Bill's GM completely throws this guy under the bus at their end of the year press conference. Picked 33rd overall in 2024, has not broken 1,000 yards yet. Feels like if he can't really put it all together this year, it might be Dunzo time, at least in Buffalo. Was getting benched at the end of the year, like healthy scratch sort of thing. So is he going to make or break his career this year?
Is it already broke?
I think he's got one more
Can
chance
he even
to
make
revive
it up?
Yeah, I think he can.
He's still on the team and everything, but they traded for DJ Moore.
I don't think he'll be the wide receiver one at all this year, but he could. I mean, there's nothing saying he couldn't get 7-8 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, I just don't think I don't think he could do enough to make up for his season. I loved Keon Coleman, man, just because he was, on the basketball team too, pretty cool stuff. And then it was always part of that MSU squad once Jaden Reed left, where it was okay, he cannot get his clear full NFL evaluation here. Goes to Florida State and is awesome. But I just don't think it's worked out for him in the NFL. He's made too many silly mistakes, like you said. I mean, there's just when the GM is publicly calling you out, that's just. It's never a good sign. So I would say he breaks his career this season, yeah.
I love the clip of him signing his rookie contract. He's like, do I do my real signature? And they're like, what? He's like, do I do my real signature or my fake one? What do you mean? What are you even talking about? Just sign the paper. Next one, Bryce Young. Bryce Young makes the playoffs last year. Played Philly in the first round. Gave him a run for their money, too. No, he didn't play Philly in the first round. They played the Rams in the first round.
The Rams, and they, almost beat them.
They hung in there on their home field, too. Won their division. This is a make or break season for Bryce Young because this is his fourth year in the league. They could give him the extension at any point. But also, it's weird because the rookies that get extended, it's usually hey, you're now the next highest paid guy in the league. Bryce Young's nowhere near that. So there's also the situation where a lot of people just don't think Bryce Young's very good. He's kind of those trick or treat quarterback to where you watch him one week and it's all right, this is not that bad. He's stringing it together. He's figuring it out. And you're almost rooting for him. Then a week goes by and it's no, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
He's terrible. So I don't think the Panthers are looking forward to paying him. I think they want him to go prove that he's worth being paid. And I think even if he plays adequate enough to get paid, it's a situation where it's man, I hope we don't regret this.
Yeah.
So is he going to make or break his NFL career this year?
And they're in a tough spot just because they should be able to recognize, we hosted a playoff game this year. That's great. You went 8-9, man. The division just stunk. It's the only reason you got in. And so I would hope that they recognize that, but I think he did enough last year where I'm going to say he makes his career this year. He just has to be fine this year. If he's fine, he will get the extension. And
what does that
he'll be the
look
Carolina
like,
quarter. I don't know. And honestly, it was probably the worst case scenario for the Panthers that what happened to them last year did, right?
Yeah. Do you want to hate this? Yeah. Because the situation that could occur next year, whether or not they give him this extension, the situation you're making is, do you want to hate the situation you're in with your quarterback, or do you want to be in a situation where you don't have a quarterback?
You don't have a quarterback, yeah, and you don't have a top pick to draft one.
Sounds like two terrible situations.
And I guarantee you they're not trading up to the first overall pick to get a quarterback again, because that worked out so awesome for them. So, I
love when those two teams play each other. It's just always going to be the Bryce Young,
Caleb Williams yeah,
bowl.
Exactly. Look, I think that he is not a franchise quarterback. I think he is fine. But, there's no, he's a starting quarterback, yes. There's a big difference between a franchise quarterback and a starting quarterback. And I just think he's in the tier of starting quarterback. They'll probably end up paying him. I think he makes his career this year, though, by just having a fine enough year where they pay him.
I'm in lockstep. The next one, it's a double dose. J.J. McCarthy, Kyler Murray. Who's going to make or break their careers this year?
Well, I mean, you can't have both.
Nope.
Right? It's the opposite answer for each one. We've discussed this time and time again. If Kyler Murray has a big-time year, I guarantee you the Minnesota Vikings are not making the same mistake they made with Sam Darnold. They're going to pay Kyler Murray to come back and give him a long-term deal to be with Minnesota.
And I kind of think it's going to happen. I don't think Kyler Murray's ever going to walk back into top 10 quarterback in the league conversation. Remember when Arizona was like 8-1 a few years back, and it was like, oh man, Kyler's like awesome. I don't think he ever gets back into that.
No,
group.
But like gets into a territory where he's
situation.
Exactly. Like, can he be Sam Darnold? Obviously, much different quarterbacks, but just that level of QB. An outside of the top 10 type of quarterback.
Yeah, just give me $30 million a year and build the rest of the team around me, and I'm going to show I can be serviceable.
Which I think is 100% capable. But if Kyler Murray has a terrible year and breaks his career, then J.J. McCarthy, that almost makes it for him, right? Because the Vikings would just pivot to going back to J.J., I would assume, being he's still on the team and they haven't moved him or anything. I mean, why else would he still be around? So I still think it's going to be the opposite. I think just the Vikings cannot make the same mistake they made with Darnold. Nobody felt worse about Seattle winning the Super Bowl last year than the Vikings did. So I will say that it is a make for Kyler Murray, and it's a break for McCarthy. I just think his time in the NFL as a starter has quickly come to an end. I think he'll be just one of those guys that gets like 5 or 6 starts a year for a random team when somebody gets hurt. Oh, we're going to trade for McCarthy. Like, is McCarthy going to be just the next Sam Howell? Is he going to be that type of guy where he started one season, he showed some flashes, but never is going to catch on as a starter again?
First-round pick, Sam Howell.
He wasn't a first-round pick, I don't think, right?
No, I'm saying, like, this is first-round pick version of Sam Howell.
Right. That's kind of how I feel.
Or Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, just will bounce around, and it'll be guys like, oh, yeah, but he was fine when he was a starter. He showed some flashes, but it's just never going to catch on.
Someone's going to convince themselves he can be the next Sam Darnold.
So he's got to go through 5 teams first?
Yeah. C.J. Stroud, who's won a playoff game, made the playoffs every year of his career, won a playoff game each of the last 2 seasons, I believe it is, and just had one of the worst performances you'll possibly see in a playoff game and still found a way to win last year against Pittsburgh.
Another odd contract for him as well, similar to Bryce Young.
Yeah, but he's at least showed the flashes of like yes. I remember after his rookie season, it was like, this guy's one of the 5 best guys in the league.
100%.
And he hasn't been anywhere close to that since then. I think he makes his NFL season, his NFL career this year.
I'm going opposite.
This is a guy that's not going to, like, unlike Bryce Young, he will be a starter for a long time. Or unlike JJ, like, he's better than those guys.
Yes, but I'm going to say break, though, because what is, like, the one thing that you can still just be about C.J. Stroud? Well, he's gone to the playoffs every year, won a playoff game. You can say that about him. That's kind of the one thing he's got going for him. It's difficult to cut ties with that guy if you do that. With the roster that this team has and their defense as good as it is, if they miss the playoffs this year, that is all-time disaster. And then you can throw out all of the like, oh, C.J. Stroud, but he gets to the play. It might not be great, but he gets to the playoffs. He'll win you a playoff game.
They're just going to win 10, 11 games this year, though.
What if they don't? What if they go 9-8 and miss the playoffs?
Then, yeah, he's probably not getting the extension. Play that 5th year, and that'll probably be it.
That's where I'm going to go, man. We got the new playoff teams every year in the NFL. I think I'm going to early say Houston is going to be one of the teams that misses.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Ooh.
This is a good one.
Ugh,
it's almost tough to say because his quarterback is checks notes. Who knows?
Yeah, because if it is Brissett, and Brissett throws that thing. Like, it's not the end of the world having Brissett as your QB if you're a pass catcher.
He threw it under Petzing. I don't know. Like, we'll see what happens.
He also threw it to Michael Wilson like 30 times a game once Brissett fully took over.
So, but it could be Minshew. It could be Carson Beck. Who knows how this Arizona situation is going to unfold?
Who would ever thought this is how Marvin Harrison's career would have wound up? You know, one of the best wide receiver prospects we'd seen in X amount of years. Like,
ever.
Just an unreal guy. I still think that Chase, without COVID happening, Jamar Chase is probably the best wide receiver prospect we've seen. That was just a weird saga that went down with that.
Hot take. Best wide receiver prospect we've ever seen is currently at Ohio State.
And weren't we saying the same thing about the guy who was at Ohio State and Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Yeah, we were.
It makes things scary. So I think he breaks it. Marvin Harrison has just been way, way too inconsistent and has had, I don't know, what percentage of his career has been like flashy enough where you're like, oh, he could still be a superstar? Like 15 of it?
Yeah.
Like most of his career has been like, oh, this guy's a disappointment.
Like, especially with the receivers, not that, the stats mean something, but sometimes you can just see it with the eye test of like, oh, this guy's just a little different. I don't think I've ever felt that way about Marvin Harrison Jr.
I felt that way at Ohio State.
Oh, yeah. I think we all felt that way at Ohio State.
100%.
Yeah, I'm going to say breaks it, but not in terms of like his career's over, just in terms of being a superstar.
He's not going to be a star. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not going to draft him high in fantasy.
This one's funny. How about Deshaun Watson? I'm going to go out on a limb and say he breaks his NFL career.
He's broke a lot of things.
Yeah. I can't believe he's listed in this.
Yeah,
I can't believe he's still allowed to play in the NFL.
What about Shedeur, though?
I think he's going to make his NFL career this year.
I don't have my watch. Where's my watch? I was just about to do the Shedeur, and it's not even on. I just didn't even realize.
This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on 100.9. The Mr. Appliance is your go-to for fast, reliable appliance repair right here in Midland. From refrigerators to ovens, washers, and dryers, and more. They'll get you back up and running with confidence. Keep your home running smooth with Mr. Appliance. Schedule service today at MrAppliance.pro.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.
We'll get back to the Tigers to open up the 11 o'clock hour. I do, like, back to what we were saying with the NBA real quick. I do think that Wembanyama has become the biggest attraction in all of sports. Bigger than Ohtani, bigger than Mahomes, bigger than Josh Allen, Rory McIlroy. I think if I could have one ticket to go see one player, it would be Wembanyama. And I've already seen him, and I'd want to go see him again. I think he's at the top of the list.
Is this basically just like who's the most fun to watch? Like, is that essentially what it is?
Yeah,
the most entertaining?
Who's the guy where it's like, oh my God,
TV.
this guy's in town today? We kind of have to go to this. Like, you almost feel guilty if you don't go when he's in town.
Yeah, it feels like Wemby and Ohtani are just the two answers, right? And Wemby's in the playoffs right now and in a spot where it's never been highlighted more than right now. So he does feel like the right appropriate answer. It could be a prisoner of the moment thing.
Sure.
Also, just have you ever watched the guy play? It's not a prisoner of the moment thing.
No, it's unbelievable. I watched
It's
Cade
stupid.
Cunningham. His mind imploded for 48 minutes. It was just like, how am I supposed to throw these lobs? And okay, I guess I'm not going to throw the lobs, so I'll take the jump shot. But I can't really take the jump shot. Cade's mind was broken. The only time I'd seen him broken in the regular season, the entire season, was when I went and saw the Spurs play in LCA. And he just like didn't have it that day. He couldn't figure out what to do. There was no answer. It's like, yeah, you don't get to do your mid-range post, like pick and roll. You don't get to do any of that with Wemby on the court. He just takes it all away. And then to see him on offense, too, it's just like the standing dunks, the dunks where he's not even really jumping. He just kind of turns around and throws it in. It's like, yeah, this has to be what it was like to see Wilt. I think he's number one, and I think Ohtani's number two. I've been lucky enough to see them both once. I think Mahomes is probably still 2 or 3, right? Is there another person that comes to mind that should be ahead of Mahomes? Maybe Josh Allen?
Gibbs? No, I mean, it has to be a quarterback. Yeah, I think Allen may have passed Mahomes. But Mahomes is just always going to have, like...
He's got the lure to him.
And that plays into this. I mean, it 100% does. You
got to go see the 3-time Super Bowl champion. Like, that matters.
And just the people, like, not the hatred that they have toward him, because I don't think he's hated. I think it's more, like, animosity than anything with Mahomes. It's just, like, people don't want him to win anymore. And so just the fact that it's like, oh, I could watch the Chiefs potentially lose, then I'll tune in. You know, like, stuff like that. Whereas Josh Allen, I think everyone kind of group roots for him. Like, everyone roots for Josh Allen, right?
Which is weird.
Why is it weird?
Why does everybody... Is it simply the Super Bowl?
He hasn't won yet, and it's the Bills. Like, it's those two things combined into one.
It's funny how quick people turn on you.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you start
people
winning,
are going to turn on
like,
Wemby.
Nah, I'm good.
People are absolutely going to turn on Wemby. And then you have the OKC Thunder, where it's like people were turning on them before they had even won.
Before they won a ring, yeah. I'll never be turning on Wemby.
But people will.
I know, people will. I don't think people have turned on Shohei yet. They've turned on the Dodgers, but it's like kind of impossible to not respect what Shohei's doing.
True.
I mean, the dude has a 7.3 ERA this year. Not 7.30, 0.73. What? He could win the Cy Young this year. Like, that's a guy that 50 years from now, we'll be telling our kids where it's like, no, you don't understand, man. There was one year he led the league in home runs. There was another year he had 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases. Then there was another year where he was top 5 in strikeouts. There was another year where he was under a 1 ERA by the end of the season, won Cy Young. It's like, what? This doesn't even make sense. Yet he exists.
Where does LeBron rank on this list?
In the big 2-6?
Yeah. We're doing current. Is he
Probably
like a top
still
10?
in the top? I was going to say fringe top 10 guy. He's got the lure to him. He's got the, I got to see LeBron one last time.
It's LeBron.
Aspect of it.
And with it potentially being his last year, I got to see LeBron.
Yeah,
I
he
got
might
to
be
watch
a top
every
5.
LeBron game. He might be like the second NBA guy.
Well, it's not Shea, I don't think. Giannis has lost a good amount of it. I don't think Jokic is like a, holy cow, I can't believe Jokic is in town. Let's go see this, like a casual person. You got to really like basketball to appreciate Jokic. Yeah, I think LeBron probably is just still that number 2 guy. Him and Steph might still be 2 and 3.
I think Ant obviously is like working his way towards that, but he's not LeBron. I mean, it's never going to be LeBron. So same with like Kevin Durant still has that to him, but it's not like LeBron. So yeah,
I think
would
both
say
those guys
he
are
is.
like levels below. All those guys we just named are levels below Wemby. When Wemby's in town, it's like, oh shoot, dude, like we should probably go to the game tonight. I don't feel that way about any other player. Like, I love going to Pistons games, but
and if like
there's
Ohtani
no,
was pitching in Detroit, I think it would be the same way too. Like, oh, we have to go.
Yeah.
We have to go watch Ohtani.
I remember when the Pistons schedule came out in, like, I don't know, August, I circled the Wemby game. I was like, we have to go this year. Like, I can't go another year without seeing this guy. I think
still
you're
haven't
right.
watched him.
Next year, dude, we have to go. Like, there's no ifs, ands, and buts. I think I
was
think
gonna go
every
this
year
year.
that Wemby's in town, I just have to be
I was in Kent
there.
State. I was in Kent, Ohio.
I think every year he's in town, I have to go see him. And I think he's kind of levitating above everybody else right now. Is it because they're in the playoffs, prisoner in the moment? Sure, but he's backing it up. I think he's the number one attraction.
Yeah,
in all of
I
sports.
still think if we were asking this question in August or even like in October, like once football had already been going.
Yeah, I still think it's Wemby.
Like the Dodgers could be in the World Series and Wemby would still be a valid answer. So I think it's definitely fair.
Football's a little tough because just in person, in general, it's just you're so much further away than everything.
You don't see their faces. They're further away. The basketball stuff, you feel tighter to the superstars for sure.
Same with baseball.
Yeah.
You get to, like, good enough seats, you can go pretty close and see all the players. So, yeah, there's a different element to it. All right, speaking of baseball, Detroit Tigers. I don't really think Scott Harris deserves – I think he certainly deserves blame. There's people calling for his job. I'm going to tell you why I think that is a poor idea when we come back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We are live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for the 11 o'clock hour here on a Friday in the Great Lakes Bay region on The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.
WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Look, this Tiger season has not gone according to plan. That much goes without saying. This has been one of the most disastrous Tiger seasons I can possibly remember. And I get people are frustrated. You want to point the finger somewhere. Rightfully so. A lot of people deserve blame. Everybody deserves blame unless your name is Riley Green or Kevin McGonigal. But here's my issue with saying Scott Harris should be fired, because I'm seeing that a good amount. Scott Harris's lone guy that he's drafted that has made the bigs is awesome, and his name's Kevin McGonigal. He's always hung his hat, to his fault to a lot of degrees, but he's always hung his hat on the prospects, specifically 3 guys, I guess 3.5 if you include Max Anderson, which I don't understand why he's not up. So if you want to be frustrated with Scott Harris about that, I'm all with you. Max Anderson should be playing. But the 3 big guys that he's always said, wait till these guys get here. It's Kevin McGonigal, there's Max Clark, and it was Jose Briseño. I need to see all those guys in the bigs before I'm ready to just say, fire Scott Harris. Because if you're in the reactionary stage, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be, because, oh my God, they're terrible. Here's what I'd tell you. If you want to fire Scott Harris, get ready for someone else to come in and just tear this thing down and be bad again. Right? Like, all of a sudden you're dealing with another rebuild. At least the Tigers aren't trying to be in the rebuilding phase right now. They're trying to win. It's failing miserably. But at least they have, some sort of infrastructure. I want to see all those guys in the bigs and give Scott Harris a chance to prove himself that way before I'm ready to just fire him. I'm not quite there yet with Scott Harris being fired. I don't think it should be done yet. I need to see these other guys, even though there's been a hell of a lot of things that we can point to and say, Scott Harris, you're an idiot for X, Y, and Z reasons.
Yeah, I mean, the number one reason I think why they stink right now, it is still the injuries, right? Like, that is still to blame. And we're not even giving, I don't even think it's 50% of the blame, but it's still the most. It's the biggest slice of pie. Just because, I mean, we're complaining about, Zach Short, Wenzel Perez, this guy, that guy. Those guys just aren't playing every day if they're not injured. Mm-hmm. And I think the bigger issue right now, at least in this losing streak that they're on, the one where they just got swept in 4 games and they've lost 6 games in a row, it's been the offense, not the pitching. Like, Casey Mize is back, and he just put together his second nice start in a return, and he gets a loss. We said this earlier in the show. They've scored 3 or less runs in 7 straight games. That's unbelievable. Like, the offense has been the issue right now, and they have a lot of guys injured right now. But, like, the next biggest reason would just be the offense is not very good. Even the guys that it's Riley Green right now, and then McGonigal, like you said, he struggled, but he's still one of the more consistent bats on the team. Dylan Dingler still, brings some pop, but he's obviously hit a little bit of a spurt as well. Outside of that, I mean, there's not a lot to look at with this offense. Even the guys that weren't, not a part of the injured list. A Colt Keith, a Spencer Torkelson, guys in that range. So it's not Scott Harris's fault necessarily that those guys are underperforming. You could say, well, he should have known that this was a possibility and they could have went and upgraded and got another bat. Sure, but I just think there's a lot of other reasons, maybe even a whole handful of them, that the Tigers are in the spot they're in right now that aren't named Scott Harris.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think A.J. Hinch, if anything, deserves more blame than Scott Harris has. Even though Scott Harris refused to add a bat this past offseason, Gleyber Torres bringing him back was enough. They bring up Kevin McGonigal. My biggest issue with where it feels like there's not an alignment with Scott Harris and A.J. Hinch is Scott Harris has continuously said, we don't want to block the young guys, so we're not going to add a third baseman. Where A.J. Hinch is like, we're not playing Colt Keith every day at third base. He should just be playing lefties and righties over at third, yet he's only in the lineup half the time. And Scott Harris, I feel like if he would have known that, he'd been like, okay, maybe I will go get a third baseman then, but he's just not going to play. Like, Colt Keith doesn't play every day at third base. That's where I have some problems with the way that they've, positioned themselves with the fans. Oh, we don't want to block any of the young guys. Okay, then play them. If Colt Keith is one of the young guys, play him every single day rather than doing this whole platoon thing. Well, here's how you leave some days. Nobody wants to see that anymore. I'm done with that. You didn't add another bat this offseason. I'll give you credit with the Framber Valdez thing. I think we all enjoyed the Verlander thing, even though that thing hasn't worked out at all. I have issues with A.J. Hinch, the way that he's over platooning, not playing Colt Keith every day, pulling his starters early when he's failing to see the urgency in the season. We are at a point where their backs are against the wall the rest of the year. You got to be lights out the rest of the year to salvage this season. And I feel like A.J. Hinch is treating it as if they're 6 games up in the division, and it's like, well, we just want to reserve arms. We want to reserve our starters so they can play the whole year without any injuries. No, man. I appreciate you trying to take care of the players. We got to win baseball games first and foremost, and nobody trusts our bullpen, so you got to leave the starters in. Feels like he's over-managing time and time again. Which is obviously the main discourse of our show yesterday, so I don't want to continue to rehash it, but I think it's worth mentioning. The overmanaging. It's just, this has been a thing with A.J. Hinch the whole time, and I think he's a brilliant manager, but I don't know if he's exactly what the Tigers need right now, some chess player. Just put the best guys in the lineup every single day and let the results speak for themselves, and let Scott Harris, the job he's done and the lack of job he's done, show, rather than trying to make up for it with all these pinch hits. You're pinch hitting Gage Workman for Zach Short. That ain't going to make a difference in this game. I can promise you that. I blame A.J. Hinch a lot more than I blame Scott Harris for this specific season.
Yeah.
Even though in the grand scheme of things, I think A.J. Hinch is better than his job than Scott Harris.
That's the tough part, because I think it's one of those things where at some point it does get to a level where a reaction needs to be, and a decision needs to be pretty crucial as far as, a change being made with this team to try and spark something. But I feel it would be something that the Tigers regret doing, letting go of either of them. Because Hinch is a good manager when the team is good. When the team is in a spot where the depth makes sense and the moves that he makes make sense, then yes. And I understand why he's not going away from that, because that's his style. But it's also important to recognize, the situation that they're in right now does not call for that. I mean, yesterday, the 3 pinch hits he has. Colt Keith pinch hits for Hao-Yu Lee. Okay, that one makes sense, right? I mean, Colt Keith for Hao-Yu Lee probably should have just been starting anyways. The other one, Jahmai Jones, a 175 batting average guy, gets pinch hit by Gage Workman, a 179 batting average guy. Okay. The other one, Zach Short, an 067 batting average guy who just had his first hit of the season, gets pinch hit by Zach McKinstry, a 193 batting average guy. Those are 4 guys that I just said that are all below the Mendoza line. What?
Yeah, it's ugly.
I think they would regret losing either A.J. Hinch or Scott Harris, though, unless they do plan on going full-bore rebuild, which sounds terrible.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, man. I want to see this thing play out the way that it is.
And clearly that's not the mindset that Chris Ilitch wants, because he spent money this offseason, and he's allowed Scott Harris to spend money. So,
this was an all-in season. This is what we deemed it a last dance season in which they were all in trying to get this thing done and go win a World Series. That's what we thought this was, and it's been the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. That goes without saying. You know what's not frustrating? The fact that the Lions figured it out with Jack Campbell. Thank God. Give us... You know what's crazy? We're in May, and the Lions are the best thing that we have going for us right now. The Tigers are miserable. Let's go ahead and check the standings there, because last time I looked, they have the 3rd worst record in the entire American League. And then obviously the Pistons have been eliminated from the playoffs at this point too. Red Wings didn't even make the playoffs. And just like that, we are back to rooting for the Detroit Lions as our number 1. Please give us some hope sort of thing. You look at the AL standings as a whole, and the Tigers have the 2nd worst record in the league, only behind the Angels. That is how poor of a season it's been. It's probably the Lions now, right? Best chance to end the drought. Here on a Friday, look at that. We're having an end the drought conversation. 2008, the last Detroit sports title, the last time we had a parade. Thank you, Red Wings.
Pistons are still in the best spot, right? Just going into this offseason, we're all expecting a move to be made that puts them into a championship contending spot. But the Lions obviously have their title game sooner than the Pistons do next.
What do you think the Lions are to win the Super Bowl right now?
I'm bad at the actual long-term odds. I mean, probably plus 1,600. Is that bad? I honestly don't know how good of a guess that is.
Plus 1,900.
Okay.
About the 10th team in the NFL.
I figured they'd be probably the 4th NFC team, 3rd or 4th.
The Rams, Seahawks are the 2 favorites. San Fran plus 150.
Plus 1.
I'm sorry, plus 1,500.
About to say.
Eagles plus 1,800, Lions plus 1,900.
Oh, really? San Fran. I knew Eagles would be above them too, but
this thing just has to fall apart for San Fran at some point. It just has to.
All right, let's do Super Ultra Doom. Is it Detroit ever going to win a title? The city?
Man. Come on.
No, it's so funny. I've been seeing a lot of that, though, on social media, just with how bad the Tigers have been and the way the Pistons, Game 7 went out, and Lions Wings, obviously. Like, I've just been seeing a lot of, like, super sad. I don't even want to call it negative. It's just, like, depressing Detroit sports talk, and it is depressing. Like, it feels like all four teams have been in a position, and it doesn't, not that it feels like, it has been. They've all been the 1 seed within the calendar year of each other. And yet, none of them had even a real opportunity of winning the championship.
It shows you how hard it is, too.
It's so difficult.
Which makes me so mad when a city like Boston just, like, rips them off like it's nobody's business. And they only have the 4 teams, too.
At least we're not as tortured as Minnesota, but still, like, it's...
Who hasn't won a title since the Twins in 93?
And I believe,
91,
like, the Twins are also, their only team to win a title?
Yeah, they have the least amount of championships.
Yeah.
Of any sport.
It's really bad.
It feels like, the Detroit's not that bad, but it's been bad as of late. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live in the Mitt. Lions, like I said, extended Jack Campbell. Guess what? They got to extend another guy before this offseason is over. I'll tell you who that is when we come back. Yetter Insurance. Life happens fast, and they present you our 11 o'clock hour. They're here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned and trusted in Midland for decades, they treat you like family, not just another policy number. From home and auto to business and life insurance, Yetter is the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people you can actually talk to. That is Yetter Insurance Group. We'll be there when you need us since 1940.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Jack Campbell ends up becoming the second highest paid linebacker in the NFL, only behind Fred Warner in terms of the AAV. Good to have Jack Campbell back after a first-team All-Pro season. They declined the fifth-year option because for some reason the fifth-year options with the off-ball linebackers are grouped together with some of the on-ball linebackers, like TJ Watt's considered a linebacker. So it would have been a crazy expensive fifth-year option. They shut it down. They turned it down. And they end up signing him through 2030 instead. I think he's like
I turned it down.
Jack Campbell's one of the guys who I had on my pyramid earlier this week on Tuesday. One of the 10 best players we have in Detroit sports. So to be able to lock him up through 2030, obviously a huge win for the Detroit Lions. I think this is where I stand on, the Brad Holmes. Like, I know people became frustrated with him during free agency because they're unable to sign players. As long as they continue to draft this way, and I know there was a couple stinkers in there between now and the 23 draft class. As long as they continue to draft like all pro players, I'm just going to be convinced they can re-sign everybody and extend everybody. And if that means you can't sign a ton of free agents, oh no, we couldn't add 4 starters in free agency. I'm okay with that if it means they can continue to extend all the guys that they draft themselves. Because Philly's done that for years. They extend everybody. All their good players, at least. Until they prove to us that they can't afford to do it, I'm just going to assume they can extend anybody they want.
Well, because Brad Holmes is so creative. I mean, he's just found ways to shift the cap and kind of push their money down the line. I mean, the Kirby Joseph contract, to this day, I still don't really understand. But even like it took so long and so many explanations from you and Spotrac just going on there to try and figure out how the Kirby Joseph contract worked. Like I said, I still don't really get it that much. Like, they're able to weasel their way around this stuff time and time again. And so we knew that at some point, and I think it still is coming, where like the decision-making is going to have to change. And maybe it did with this offseason, right? They didn't give out any big-time money to free agents that weren't on the team because they have to save their money, and they cut some cap space to create money just to bring their own guys back. And I get that can frustrate some fans, but at the end of the day, like, these guys, the Lions have drafted many amounts of all-pro players under Brad Holmes. You want all of those guys back in Lions uniforms. So I get, like, yeah, they didn't add a ton of guys in free agency, this and that. They got Cade Mays. That's great, starting center. Other than that, it was a lot of pieces around the edges.
Yeah, if they're signing, like, one real starter like Cade Mays in free agency a year, I think that's fine as long as they can just continue extending everyone. And as long as
keep drafting good.
And keep drafting well. And there's not really any reason to believe that they're going to not be able to do that until it actually happens. Like, until they get in a situation where it's like, oh my God, we can't extend Sam Laporta. Oh my God, we can't extend Brian Branch. Until that actually happens, I'm just convinced they're going to be able to do it forever.
Yeah. Which in that case, like, I would assume if they can't pay someone, then it turns into a trade situation, and there's been no inkling of any of that going on. So it feels like Holmes and company, the rest of this Lions front office, are just going to continue to find ways to get this stuff done. And this is just the first domino of a potential 4 extension offseason for these Lions guys.
I'd be a little surprised if it was all 4 guys. I still think it's very possible, though. Like, I think it's very much on the table that they get all of these extensions done this offseason. That's always what they've prioritized, is re-signing their own guys.
What's this? I mean, I guess, it's going to be interesting to see just how this Gibbs and Bijan Robinson situation goes down, because once Achane got paid, it felt like, okay, now it's going to happen with one of these two guys. Like,
this offseason.
Yes, it's going to happen, like, sooner rather than later. And I just don't know. Maybe the Lions were prioritizing getting the Jack Campbell one done first. Last year, of course, the night before the season begun, Jameson Williams got paid, so it could happen now. It could happen extremely late as well, because that was a bomb that got dropped. I mean, on top of a crazy busy weekend you throw that in the mix of everything.
And then he ended up proving that he was worth every penny of it this season. He was awesome this year. He's turned himself into one of the top 15 receivers in the NFL in my mind.
And even like when he got paid, it was like, oh wow, they paid J-Mo. All right. Like, he was a top 10 paid receiver, I believe, once he got that contract just at the time.
Yeah, I think he was 10.
Right at the 10th spot. Yeah.
And I think he's played his way into being like a top 12 guy in the league. I think him and
one of the better
Amon-Ra
number 2s in the NFL, for sure.
Yeah, if you're looking at the best like wide receiver 2s or duos in the league, the Lions are one of the 3 or 4 best duos. Like, it's CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. It's
Nakua and Devontae.
Assuming Nakua can keep his head on straight. It's Higgins and Chase, and it's J-Mo and Amon-Ra.
Yeah, probably.
And guess what? Unlike the Higgins thing, J-Mo stays healthy. J-Mo's been healthy for most of his career, knock on wood. Other than, when he missed his first season. But besides that,
Yeah.
he's been like relatively healthy the whole way.
Yeah, he has.
Amon-Ra's only missed 2 games since being drafted. Like, these guys play all the time and are clearly one of the 4 best wide receiver duos in the NFL. So that one was surprising. Ironically, though, as great as those weapons are, I think Gibbs is the number 1 guy on the field where it's just like, yeah, if I'm an opposing team's defensive coordinator, he's priority number 1, subsection A, Roman numeral 1. First guy that we got to scheme to make sure that this guy's not beating us. Because if he gets loose on the outside, it's just over. He's one of those guys where I don't really care what the stats say. The advanced stats back up that Jahmyr Gibbs is one of the best running backs in the NFL in terms of the explosion numbers, the amount of 10-yard runs that he has. Like, he's at the top of the league with Derrick Henry and Saquon, even on a lower volume. But you just watch him, and it's just like, yeah, this guy's wreaking havoc for defenses, demoralizing them in every way because they just can't catch him. So I do think it's, I've been very hesitant to think, hey, they should give Jahmyr Gibbs a 4-year, 5-year contract extension and sign him all the way through when he's at age 30, which is basically 35 in running back years. But it's going to happen. So I think they may as well rip the Band-Aid off. If I'm predicting what is next, I think it's the Jahmyr Gibbs contract.
What percentage would you give it at? Like, if you, out of 100, you had to give the 3 guys of who gets paid next a percentage.
Gibbs, 75%. Laporta, 15%. Branch, 10%. Odds of all 4 of them getting signed before the season, I would say like 25%.
Yeah, that feels pretty low. But I think 3 of them do. I bet they choose one of Branch or Laporta. I don't know.
They also could get extended in the middle of the season
Yeah.
like Aleem McNeil did, which is still like the worst contract that Brian Holmes has handed out other than the Taylor Decker deal.
But another guy that he drafted that he chose to pay.
That's the only one where it's like, are we sure we should have done that? Maybe could have waited out a little bit longer to do that one. You probably could have saved
Sure.
a ton of money.
But also-
not probably, you would have saved a ton of money.
We were talking about this pre-show. Like, it's just odd to see a Lions extension, a homegrown extension happen, and it not be, this is the largest contract for a
Right.
blank in NFL history. Because, I mean, outside of the Aleem McNeil extension, they've all been the biggest contract for that position in NFL history.
Yeah, Joseph was, in some way, shape, or form, whether it's annual average, guaranteed, whatever
Right.
it is. In some way, shape,
Total,
or form,
yeah.
Kirby Joseph was the highest paid. Hutch was the highest paid. Goff was the highest paid. Amon-Ra, Sewell. And I don't think any of those guys are still at the top of the league.
I guess the J-Mo extension as well. So there's now been 3 of them, but there was 5 guys that were the highest paid guy at their position.
And Jack Campbell's the 7th overall.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them are even close to being the highest paid players at their
No,
position
it
anymore,
changes,
other than Joseph.
obviously.
I think Joseph still is, but his contract's so weird that I almost don't count it.
Hamilton is first, I believe, right?
He passed Kirby.
I thought he did with his deal, but once again, that's
The
just
Kirby one's just so goofy.
well, and just the safety position as well. Like, as far as what, like, is Kyle Hamilton? What even is he? Yeah,
It's like
Kyle
his own
Hamilton.
thing.
Just from average annual value, Kyle Hamilton at 25. Kirby is second at 21.5. So Hamilton got an absolute duffel
Yeah,
bag.
that happened this offseason, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Hey, we'll hit the news when we come back. We'll also do our 3 traditions to close out every show. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on the Mitt. I'll be honest with you, I don't really know anything about technology, and that's why I trust Link Technology in Midland. They handle all the complicated stuff, IT support, cybersecurity, cloud solutions, networking, so you don't have to stress about it. Whether your business needs their team knows exactly what to do, and they make it easy for you to understand along the way. That is Link Technology, the experts who keep your business running smooth so you can focus on what you do best.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building.
All right, welcome back in. It's the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on 100.9 The Minute. Kyle Sandel, it is your time to shine. Take it away with the news.
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
Before you get going, though, I should tell everyone, winters in Michigan, they can be brutal, even though we're in the midst of a nice spring here. It's been a kind of cold spring. Either way, got to keep your house cozy all warm all season long. That's where Answer Heating and Cooling come in. They get your furnace running efficiently so your home stays comfortable all year round, whether it's winter, spring, fall, or summer. Make sure Answer Heating and Cooling is there for you.
Okay.
Take it away with the news.
Let's hop back into the news here. Let's take a look at the community calendar presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. It's, of course, Memorial Day weekend here, not just in Midland, but it's Memorial Day weekend everywhere in the United States. I think that's how that works. We got a ton of fun stuff going on here at Dow Diamond this weekend. It's a Copa night tonight at the Loons game if you want to come out for that. We've also got the Jurassic night going on tomorrow night, and then the 250th anniversary celebration the day before Memorial Day on Sunday. So if you're looking for something to do on Memorial Day weekend, it's supposed to be nicer out later in the weekend. So coming out to Dow Diamond, watch the Loons play.
I didn't realize America's 250 celebration was this Sunday here at the ballpark. That's great.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I think just kind of getting out ahead of it, because the Loons are not at home this year for the July 4th.
I get it.
So you might as well do it for Memorial Day, being it's kind of a similar type of holiday. Okay, anyways, let's get into more stuff with the news. First off, the NHL Conference Finals continued last night. It was Game 1 of the Eastern Conference side. The Canadians go up 1-0 with a 6-2 victory over the Hurricanes. So right now it's Canadians up 1-0 over Carolina, and then in the West, Vegas is up 1-0 against the Colorado Avalanche. That Game 2 is tonight at 8. There's also a big game on tonight around that same time. We've talked about it a few times today, but haven't really talked about just tonight's game specifically. Thunder Spurs, Game 3, tied up at 1 apiece right now. Headed back to San Antonio. This is on NBC at 8:30. Spurs are 1.5-point favorites in this game. And this is it's going to be super fun because the OKC arena was awesome in games 1 and 2. They all wear the shirts there. They're definitely all going to be wearing the shirts tonight in San Antonio. It's two really good environments. What's the prediction for tonight's game?
I got the Spurs. I think Wemby just takes out his aggression on everybody after getting kind of beat up in Game 2. I think he's a force to be reckoned with tonight. I think if you're a Thunder fan, though, you're just like, eyes are just wide open staring at Chet Holmgren. Like, are you going to let this dude big bro you the entire series? Because right now he's averaging 10 points and 6 rebounds through the first 2 games, which obviously is not going to cut it.
Hartenstein, man.
Sure, you need more from Chet Holmgren, who is your second best player, though. Your second best player is not. You're not winning the series if your second best player is averaging 10 points per game.
Sure. I just think it is interesting that, like, tonight, how the game is officiated tonight is going to be very telling for the rest of the series, especially since it is switched to San Antonio. You would expect some sort of correction just with the way that they were absolutely bullying Wembanyama in Game 2.
Mm-hmm.
If it's called like that the rest of the series, though, like, OKC just wins, right?
Probably.
I would assume so. I mean, like, they didn't even get really great games from a lot of their guys in Game 2, and it just didn't matter because of their ability to defend Wemby the way that they did, a.k.a. by just fouling the crap out of him and it being called 20% of the time. So, I don't know. I'm very interested to see how that goes down tonight, but that's at 8:30 on NBC. And then, of course, this weekend you'll have Game 3 of Knicks Cavs, and then Game 4 will be on Sunday of Thunder Spurs. Other stuff going on in the NFL. We talked about the Jack Campbell extension. A former Lion got another extension. Matt Stafford signs a 1-year, $55 million extension with the Rams. This is now a back-to-back offseason that a new deal, you could say, has been reached for Stafford. This isn't a new deal. It's just a year added on. Of course, last offseason, Stafford was almost traded from the Rams. There was a lot of talks about it. They ended up agreeing on a new contract. Seemingly worked out for everybody involved. The Rams go to the NFC title game. Stafford wins the MVP, and now he's back on a 1-year, $55 million extension.
If I gave you the over-under on 2.5 more seasons he's a starting quarterback, what would you take?
See, if you could have gave me that same line last offseason, I would have probably taken the under. I would have probably said 2 more years. But 2.5 from this point on, I think I'd take the under still. I think it is 2.
I mean, if he's still
the 1-year extension is kind of like telling, right? I mean, they drafted Ty Simpson, too.
Yeah, but it's also like if he's still playing
He was
80%
MVP
as good as he was this year.
He was so good, man.
I think about it like this, too. Stafford's going into age 37 season, 36. Rodgers is playing age 43 right now.
Sure.
Or age 42.
41, right? 42.
42, I think it is.
Stafford is 38.
Oh, that's a little older than I thought he was. So I think he's got, I think 2.5 is probably the right line then.
I would say under. I think he just has 2 more in him.
It's really whenever that velocity dips.
Right. And he also has been an injury-prone guy as well. Certainly. In this later half of his career. Like, he used to be able to play through it all, but obviously that catches up to you at some point. So we'll see, but good to see Stafford getting the extension in L.A. We'll give everyone a full landscape of the updated standings across Major League Baseball right now. Of course, we've been talking about the Tigers all day. They are officially alone in last place at 20-31, 9.5 games back of Cleveland. Chicago White Sox are in second, though, at 25-24. They're still just barely above 500. Those are the only 2 teams above 500, though. The Twins are 23-27, 6 games back, and the Royals just ahead of the Tigers at 20-30, 9 games back.
The White Sox, that's a story, man. That really is.
No way it lasts, right?
I don't think so.
I would be pretty shocked.
They're the
if it
White
did.
Sox.
Yeah. Tigers do start a 3-game set this weekend with the Baltimore Orioles, who are also having a pretty poor season. It's Jack Flaherty on the mound tonight against Chris Bassett of Baltimore. It's at 7:15, and you know what it's on, Ben?
No,
Apple TV.
Apple TV, there it is. Guess who won't be watching then?
Me and you.
Shout out Dan Dickerson. You're the way to go today.
And most Tigers fans probably. I assume most people don't have Apple TV unless you're a big Severance fan. Yeah, the Orioles are not having the best season either, and they unfortunately play in the American League East, where they have a better record than the Tigers, but they are 13 games back of the top of the division there. So you got 2 last-place teams going at it this weekend. Big series for Detroit, but we said that about the last one, and it was a sweep. So that's not fun. The Bears have reiterated that their Chicago stadium options are exhausted, and at this point, they are still just circling in on Hammond, Indiana, to be the new location of the Chicago Bears. They said there's a few other suburban Illinois cities that they're exploring that are near Chicago, but it still feels more and more like they will be moving out of the state of Illinois as a whole.
These poor Bears fans, man. There's not a lot you could do for me to feel bad for the Bears fans. I feel pretty bad about this. This is terrible. It'd be like if the Lions were playing in Toledo. I've said that before. Say it again. This is insane. This is insanity. You will forever be the most hated owner. There's nothing you can ever do to win over Bears fans again if you bring them out of the city. So if you're the owner, you have to live with that the rest of your life, and there's no going back. If you do this, they're staying there forever, or at least for 40 years, which is basically forever. I don't know. I hate this. I hate it a lot.
It's just, I mean, I don't necessarily hate it because it's just a more reason to make fun of the Bears.
Sure, but put yourself in their shoes. This is terrible.
It'd be so bad. Yeah, if you're a fan of them, that would just be the worst ever. We did get Bobby Marks of ESPN put out a teams re-signing their guys projection. He put out 20 players that are free agents with teams that what would the contract look like if they were to be able to re-sign by their team. And one of the Pistons that was included in this was Tobias Harris of the Detroit Pistons. The projected deal that he threw in there was a 2-year, $38 million contract. The $15 million is the non-tax mid-level exception that they get, so this would be a little bit of a step above that, but they can go over the cap because of the Jalen Duren having his rights there. So what do you think? 2 years, $38 million, you welcome Tobias Harris back?
I would take it back if it means he's coming off the bench. I would not take him back for 2 years, 38 if he's just going to be the starter and they're not going to add another starter to the lineup. Because I think it's safe to say Duncan's probably just going to be the starter unless they package Duncan together with a trade for somebody else. But in that case, it's probably for a power forward, which should be Tobias Harris' spot.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jalen Duren is also included in this list, and the teams that he put on that might be interested in him, it's only Detroit. So I guess that's a good sign if you're a team that wants Jalen Duren back or a fan that wants Duren back. Projected deal, 5-year, $180 million. It would start at $31 million and increase at an 8% rate over the 5 years. This feels kind of fine because the max that he could have made pre-postseason with making All-NBA was 5-year, $239 million. So this is a difference of $60 million.
It's a lot.
Total.
In today's NBA, that's a lot.
Over a 5-year span, yeah, that's a huge deal. So 5 years, 180, I know it sounds like a lot. Anything south of $200 million, I think, is a win if you bring back Jalen Duren, especially what he is eligible for.
See the difference at Midland Eye Care, where your vision is their focus, offering comprehensive eye exams, glasses, contacts, and advanced eye health services. Friendly, knowledgeable staff and a wide selection of stylish frames for every face and budget. Book your appointment today and start seeing clear tomorrow at Midland Eye Care.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid. on 100.9 The Mid.
We have 3 traditions to close out each and every show, the first of which is our Lock of the Day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Unfortunately, we did not hit yesterday, did we? Jalen Brunson could not score us 30 points. Ended up dishing out a ton of assists instead. Only scored 18. That's all right.
Yeah, didn't even get to 20.
Still doing pretty good on the week.
Still doing pretty good on the week, but despite there only being no pick on Tuesday, so it's 4 picks this week, you still could lose the week with an L today. You're 2-1. You're 0.7 units up on the week, so of course a loss would take you under. You're also 0.92 units up in the month of May, so you can either go into the weekend feeling good or go into the weekend down on the week and in the month. So a big-time decision today for you, Ben.
I'm going to play it safe today. I already told you in the last segment, I think Wemby's coming out aggressive tonight. Potentially no Dylan Harper either, so one less scoring option for the San Antonio Spurs. I think Wemby, with the way he got pushed around yesterday, he's going to watch the tape and realize, I'm not letting that happen again. This team is not pushing me around. I'm going to murder everyone in my path. That is the version of Wemby I think that we get today. I can't wait to see it. So I will take him to score 25 points at minus 135. Is it 135 or 138?
113.
Oh, 113. Perfect. Yeah, I think Wemby's going to come out scoring in bunches tonight. He could have gone with the rebounds or the blocks. I just think he's pretty aggressive at the rim. Maybe gets to the line a good amount tonight. At home, maybe gets a favorable whistle. If Adam Silver's rigging this game in any way, it's for the Spurs.
Yeah, I think that the whistle just has to be different tonight. On the road, being able to get away with what OKC did in Game 2, there's just no way that happens. At least, they might still be able to do it a little bit, but not to the level that they did in Game 2.
They're grabbing him. They're stepping on his shoes. Yeah. They're pulling him down. They're hooking him.
Hooking his arm, every single time. It's just make sure he can't get elevated at all.
They're body checking him underneath the hips.
And it's a smart strategy. I think it's something that can work for one game. It can work once, and then obviously the officials are going to realize what happened in Game 2, the ones that are on the call for Game 3.
Yeah, and they're
going to know.
Yeah, when the entire Spurs staff sends all the footage to the league, and it's like, hey man, they're destroying Wembanyama. they're hitting. He's getting hit below the belt
every game. Turn on any show after Game 2. That's all everybody was talking about. So I obviously think that this is going to go in the way of Wembanyama as well. I like this pick. I think this is going to hit tonight, so I will tail this.
Safe. That's fine. On a Friday where you're trying to win the week, I think that's fine.
Yeah, and you're already up. It's not like you are trying to make up ground by any means.
Yeah. So I will go with Victor Wembanyama to score 25. That is our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Have you seen the spread on just the game itself?
1.5, right?
Yeah, for the Spurs.
Yeah.
Man, this is close.
Closest one of the series yet?
Yeah, because the first one was 8.5, and then it was 6.5?
I don't think it was quite 8.5 for Game 1, was it?
Was it 7?
Really? It was that high?
I think it was.
Yeah, I know it was 6.5 for Game 2, though. Yeah, so maybe it was that high. I wonder what the game of the day is going to be.
Before we get to a game of the day, I should tell you, Mr. Appliance, they're your go-to, fast, reliable home appliance repair right here in Midland. From refrigerators and ovens to washers and dryers and more, they'll get you back up and running with confidence. Keep your homes running smooth with Mr. Appliance. Schedule service today at MrAppliance.com. This is our game of the day.
Game of the day.
Spurs, Thunder, Game 3 in San Antonio. This is game of the month, right? It'll just continue to top itself. Game 5 will be better. I think this series is inevitably going 7. But do you remember a conference finals as important as this one? I think you'd have to go back to the Warriors and Rockets, and I'm not even sure that
probably
competes with this. Because with this,
as
it's
important.
Yeah,
because one of the conference finals that I just can never forget is the 2018 Eastern Conference Finals, when it was the injured Celtics that were led by Tatum and Brown, rookie Tatum, and going against LeBron and whatever you want to call the other guys that were on the Cavs in that series.
And they were up 1-0 and 2-1.
They're up 3-2.
Yeah.
3-2 with a home game. Boston was up 3-2 with a home game, and LeBron went crazy in Game 6. Hit a ton of big-time shots in TD Garden. So but that series wasn't an important one because it was like, oh, congrats, you made the finals. Here's the Kevin Durant Warriors. Yeah. Like, they weren't winning, but I just remember that series like, this is awesome. But you're right, it probably does go back to, and it was the same season that would have been 2018 when it was Rockets Warriors. So yeah, I think this is the best that it's gotten since that time, which it's been 8 years now to really think about. That's weird.
And that one was important because you had like all these all-time players. You had James Harden off of an MVP season, Chris Paul, who had yet to get a ring and was still like playing at a high level. You had Steph. And
a lot of legacy stuff in that. 100%.
Yeah, like the amount of Hall of Famers, sure. The importance of like, holy cow, this might actually be one of the 5 best players of all time when it's all said and done.
If he does this early.
Yeah, the importance of that, I think, is maybe trumps anything that happened with that Golden State and
right. Well, because even think
Rocket
about
series.
When was the last time there was a conference finals where it was like, okay, whichever team wins this series, and we don't know who's going to win, by the way, is going to win the finals. When's the last time that happened? Because it feels like every conference finals matchup we've gotten in the last nearly decade, you just kind of knew who was going to win. There was a clear favorite in each one of them.
I would say the last time this happened was the series we were just talking about.
Yeah.
The Rockets and the Warriors. It felt like whoever won that series was probably going to beat LeBron's Kyrie-less, Kevin Love-less Cavs. So, there you go. As temperatures rise across Michigan, termite season is officially underway, and many homeowners don't even realize there's a problem until the damage has already been done. At Four Seasons Exterminating, we offer professional termite inspections and treatments to help protect your home before major damage happens, along with personal pest control, lawn care, mosquito treatment, bed bug services, and more. Call Four Seasons Exterminating today or visit the website and schedule your inspection. That's our game of the day.
Game of the day.
I got 2 words for you. Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
After the show, I'll tell you what, I am headed to Pizza Baker. Kyle, you are welcome to join me. I am craving a pizza pie right now. The best kind you can get. You don't have to sit with me if you don't want to.
Okay.
The best kind of pie you can get in town. It's got that wood fire taste that you just can't get anywhere else. Downtown Midland, head there for lunch. It's the perfect Friday spot. It's not going to slow you down the rest of the day, but it is going to fill you up. It's the perfect amount of pizza. I love it. I always go with the banana-roni, little pepperoni, little banana peppers. I get the hot honey finish on it. Oh, it is perfect. You're in and out. It's quick. It's easy. And it is delicious. That it's Pizza Baker, downtown Midland. Okay, last thing we have. It is time to predict what Colin Cowherd opens with. What is the score? Whose turn is it to go first? Fill us in, Kyle.
I think I'm giving you a point for yesterday.
Jog my memory.
So you guessed I said OKC centered lead, like OKC wins game 2, like they figured it out. And you said, okay, I'm going to take the Wemby route. It's like about Wemby, the way that they defended Wemby. He started off the show by saying, okay, my 2 major takeaways. One is that each team lost like a pivotal player in this game. Jalen Williams, Dylan Harper. Like, this is massive. Whichever guy comes back first, like the other team has a major upper hand. And then he was like, talked about the way that OKC was just fouling the crap out of Wemby. So I feel like I'm giving you a point.
You mean it feels like you're giving me? I feel like I earned a point.
Yeah, but he led by talking about Harper and Williams and then pivoted to that.
Well, then I appreciate you giving me a point.
Well, I just wanted to confirm if that felt like the right option.
I feel like it did.
Okay. So, yeah, you get a point. It's 58-56. Usually I'm a stickler when it comes to this, so I'll be a little bit more lenient today. It's also your turn to go first.
I'm going to go with Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. They're 2 wins away from the finals. I'll make it quick since we don't have time.
I'll make it long.
Okay.
No, I don't know. He's not going to talk about the Cavs, that's for sure. Maybe he just goes back to this game tonight. I'm going to go to the game tonight because he doesn't have a chance to talk about it tomorrow. I'm going to go with Wemby, game 3. They're going to defend him the same way. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in San Antonio. That's going to be mine.
Sure. There you go. All right. Appreciate everyone for joining us this week, whether that's today or earlier this week, whenever. We are live on YouTube every day. Hit that notification button so you don't forget when we go live at 9 a.m. It's the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live on Facebook as well. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We'll talk to you guys Monday on Memorial Day, 9 a.m.
The Ben Bosscher